Today on Judge Faith, a landlord gets conned out of rent from a tenant fresh out of jail.
He's just someone who I would never have ever rented to.
What do you mean by that?
He has a felony. I was trying to be nice, and Your Honor, it backfired on me.
But the tenant says he was taken for fraud.
He's a big con artist. Several times I asked him to show proof of ownership,
So are you paying rent to who you believe is the real owner of the building, or are you just living there for free?
And later, a dogfight leaves a puppy in the hospital, and the vet bills lead to a brawl.
I kind of separated, and my dog jumped back on his dog.
Your dog wasn't on a leash,
Neither
right?
dog was on a leash.
Mr. Alexander isn't telling the truth.
I don't see any reason to put a dog to sleep for a couple
I'm not
seconds.
asking you what you see. You don't have any professional training or experience in this area, so I'm not relying on your opinion.
Plaintiff Kevin Walker says he gave a felon a chance, but the tenant's past wrongs led to skipped rent. He is seeking $1,500 in unpaid rent and late fees. Defendant Bernard Allison says his landlord couldn't prove he owned the place and cut off his water. He is countersuing for $500 for harassment and non-working utilities.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Walker versus Allison.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, Mr. Kevin Walker.
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Bernard Allison, for $1,500 for back rent and late fees.
Yes.
And Mr. Allison, you are countersuing for $500 for repairs and harassment.
yes.
Okay, we'll start with you, Mr. Walker. How do you know the defendant?
He called to and responded to an ad I had on Craigslist looking for an apartment. And so when he came to see the apartment, Your Honor, I showed him the apartment, but after he went through the application process, he was someone who I would never rent to. I've been doing this for
Excuse me, Your Honor.
I've been doing this for 6 years, Your
Excuse me,
Honor.
Your Honor. Excuse me, Your Honor. I would like to say something on my behalf. My name, he's trying to
Okay, well,
assassinate
may I
my
hear
character.
his version of how the two of you met first, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go
And
ahead.
so he came to see the apartment. As he went through the application, he was just someone who I would never have ever rented to.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Your Honor, he has a felony. He has all the things on his application. We're telling
Your
me
Honor,
not,
he
we're not
ain't
to
nothing
do
but a
it.
con artist, Your Honor.
Okay, would you wait a second, Mr. Allison?
Okay.
Everything on the application told me not to do it. But I had a
How
heart.
did you know he had a record? You ran a background check?
Yes, I ran a background
Okay.
check on him. And so when that came back, I felt like I shouldn't do it. But then I had this heart. I mean, he was trying to start over. He had a rough past. I was trying to be nice, trying to help him out. And so my heart said do it, but my mind's telling me don't do it. But I said, you know what, I'll give him a chance. Everyone needs a second chance. Everyone
Right.
makes a turn. So I wanted to give him a chance to do it. And Your Honor, it backfired on me. And so that's why I'm here today, because we signed a contract. We have a lease agreement.
Yeah,
he has not fulfilled it, and I'm here
You
because
have a written lease?
I have a written
May
lease,
I see
Your
it,
Honor.
please?
Yes.
Yes, I will hear from you now, Mr. Allison.
He gave him a good impression, like, this guy is good, but on all nationality, he's a big con artist. He in the real estate game doing what he had to do. I can't knock him.
How did I con you?
I'm not knocking for what he got going on
Well,
with
Mr. Allison,
himself.
let me ask you a question. You saw an ad on Craigslist.
Yeah, and I responded to it.
And you responded to it. So the two of you did not know each other prior to that,
No, Your Honor.
No,
right?
somebody
okay,
else
where's
gave-
the apartment located?
In Harvey, Illinois.
Okay, and is that a suburb of Chicago?
Yes.
Is that where you're from?
No,
Okay,
I'm from the city of Chicago.
all right. So, and you got the apartment in the suburbs?
Suburb, yeah, thinking
Okay.
that, to get away from the life, street life.
What were you trying to get away from?
Well, I just had a death in the
felony.
family.
Excuse me, let him finish, sir.
Well, the felony wasn't nothing because the felonies that he looked up was when I was a child. I was like 17, 18 years old. I had no type of guidance, no father, no mother, no nothing right in my life. I'm just going and doing as I please until I started learning on my own. Like I tried to rent out some, all legit in my name, no frauds, no lying. I'm a general contractor, and that's what I tried to do. I had a rough task in the city, so I moved where
What
I
happened
started
in the
searching.
city?
I had a death in the family. Somebody killed my brother in the area that I've been born and raised at.
In Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to cope with the things that I was going through there. And
Did they catch the people who killed your brother?
yes, then he's in jail now.
Okay, well,
And-
that's good.
Yes, that's a blessing. So I was just trying to get away from the area, period, because it was more to just catching that one guy. It was like.
It was trouble.
Yes,
You
it
were
was
trying to
trouble.
get away from it.
Yes, and
Were you having problems finding an apartment because you have a felony record? Is that what the problem
no,
was?
I had no problem
Absolutely.
at all.
That's why
I
I
had
needed my
cash.
apartment, Your Honor.
Do you own this building? How many units do you have? What do you do exactly?
Yes, Your Honor, I own this building at that location. There's 2 units in that location. I've got some other properties as well.
Okay, so you rent out a number of properties.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what month and year did the defendant sign this lease?
He signed the lease in December 2013.
Okay, is this a 1-year lease or month to month?
Yes, it's a 1-year lease, Your Honor.
Okay, and how much did he agree to pay every month?
He agreed to pay $550 per month,
And how was there a security deposit?
$550 security deposit as well.
Okay, so he moves in December of 2013. Does he pay rent and security deposit
Yeah, so
that month?
the first month was great because he had to pay it ahead of time. So he paid in a money order. I actually had to go with him and his girlfriend. She had to give him some money as well. And we went to a currency exchange.
Excuse me,
and
he's lying. My girlfriend didn't give me not one dime. I had all cash in my hand and was willing to pay him up front inside the apartment until my girlfriend stepped up like, no, that ain't how you do business. Go to the currency exchange. It was 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Was nothing open, nothing.
She wants you to get a money order though instead of paying cash when you have a record.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not knowing, I'm young. I just turned 28 years old, so I'm not knowing. I never rented out.
Is this your first apartment?
Yes, my first time renting out.
And I knew that.
He correct.
So I
I
was
have
trying to
been
help
through a
him.
lot of stuff in my juvenile. I'm just now developed how to do things the right way.
And I
Becoming
think that's,
a man, period.
I think that's great. I
no
mean,
gas.
even though you're 28 years old, listen, everybody has a past. Everybody goes through things in their life. I was a prosecutor in New York. I dealt with a lot of young people. The key is when you make mistakes, when you can put the past in the past and know that you have a future and start focusing on your future, and that seems like what you're trying to do now. I mean, I admire that. I think that's great, okay?
Coming up on Judge Faith, who's to blame for unpaid rent?
What was the reason you didn't pay April rent?
Yana, I paid the rent off, Yana.
He was late again, and he paid after the 5th.
Do you have water in the apartment now?
No.
Why is there no water in the apartment?
And later, a dogfight gets vicious.
He did have to have surgery. He was at the vet.
It was a dog fight. It wasn't my dog biting her.
Why was your dog fighting with my dog that was on a leash?
Your dog was not on a leash.
Yes,
you weren't
okay.
there, so I mean, it's.
But you did actually agree to pay the vet bill.
Landlord Kevin Walker is suing his former tenant for $1,500 in back rent and late fees. Tenant Bernard Allison is countersuing for $500 for repairs and harassment.
So he pays December, there are no issues.
No,
what happens in January?
In January, he pays the rent, but it's late.
No, we had up to the like the 5th to pay. And I paid.
Okay,
like,
but it's still late. It's due on the 1st.
no, we had.
But is there a 5-day grace period?
There is.
Okay, so did he pay before the 5th?
In January, yes.
The first time you say he doesn't pay all of the rent is April.
Yes.
Correct? Okay,
Yeah.
what happened in April?
So in April, when I arrived there, he didn't have all of the rent. So he gave me $300 in April. The rent's $550. So he said, I'll give me a couple weeks. Whatever happened with work, and he was slow and didn't have money to pay it all. And I said, that's fine. I'll work with you. I try to be understanding, caring guy. I mean, that's the whole reason I gave him the apartment to begin with, is because I wanted to be caring. I'm trying to help the guy out. So I'm like, I won't charge you a late fee. I gave him some time. He never paid it. And I kept calling.
What was the reason you didn't pay April rent?
Yana, I paid the rent off, Yana. Before April, I did some work around the house, and that knocked like $250 off.
Your agreement was to pay rent, though, not to do work around the apartment to fix it up. You understand?
I understand that, but if
there was
the
no
landlord,
agreement
we had
between the
agreement,
two of you.
Exactly.
There was no agreement.
We had agreement between, we did have agreement.
Was it in writing,
think-
sir? Was it in writing? Because
No.
your lease is in writing. You live somewhere, you have to pay the rent.
I went down to a government-funded program that I enrolled myself into.
Okay, and so you took them paperwork about where you lived. They checked it out, and you're saying in your answer, which I read, that they couldn't find and establish that he was the actual owner of the building.
He couldn't, and I told Kevin that, and he said, what?
You stopped paying rent because you say you don't know if he's the real owner of the building.
He's the real owner of the place.
So are you paying rent to who you believe is the real owner of the building, or you're just living there for free?
No, I stopped paying because
Then you should move if I'm not the owner.
several times I asked him to show proof of ownership,
He does not have to show proof. You signed a lease, and if you are living in the unit, if you have a problem with proof of ownership, sir, then move. Find somewhere else to live and pay someone else rent. I know this is your first apartment, and everything that you told me in terms of you trying to get sober and your brother being killed in Chicago, I know you moved to the suburbs to try to get away from all of that. but now this is about business and taking care of business. So there's no excuse for you not paying rent. What are the issues that you mentioned about water and electricity in your answer? Do you have water in the apartment now?
No.
Why is there no water in the apartment?
There's water in the apartment.
They cut the water off.
Okay,
Or
so
you guys can
that's
call them.
something that you need to check on, because
Right.
even if a tenant is not paying rent, you as the owner, you can't turn off water, you can't turn off electricity, all of the necessities you have to continue to provide. So that's something that you have to check on.
Right.
You absolutely
Yeah,
have to make sure that there's running water in that building.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff, $250 rent for April, $550 for the May rent. You're only suing for $50 rent for June, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, $550 rent for July and $100 in late fees plus your court costs. Mr. Allison, you have to pay him $1,500 plus court costs, okay? You understand? Have a good day.
Plaintiff Melinda Wynn's puppy was attacked by a neighbor's dog and needed surgery. She's suing for vet bills and lost wages. Defendant Joseph Alexander admits his dog was in the fight, but says he's not responsible for the high vet bill.
Ms. Wynn, you're suing your neighbor for $947.71 in vet bills and lost wages resulting from a dog attack. Mr. Alexander, you admit your dog attacked the plaintiff's dog, but you say you don't owe any more money. Ms. Wynn, we'll start with you. What happened here?
On April 16th, in the evening, my father was riding the bicycle, and he had my dog on a leash when Mr. Alexander's dog ran out of the house and attacked my dog. And so I'm suing for the vet bills and lost wages because
Were
of
you
that.
there for the dog
I was
attack?
not. My dad goes on nightly bike rides with my dog.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you didn't witness the attack itself?
I didn't, but as soon as he came home, he told me what happened, and that's when I checked my dog, and I did notice on his right abdomen that he had a wound on his side.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of dog do you have, and what's his name?
His name is Jax. He's an Australian cattle dog. He's under 40 pounds, and he had just turned a year and a month old at that time.
Okay. And was he seriously injured?
I took him to the vet that early that morning, and they told me once we were there, they checked the wound, and they told me that they would have to put a drain in his side, give him stitches, and clean out the wound. Otherwise, he could get an infection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why was your dog loose that day?
I was leaving the house. It was about 10:30 at night, and I take my dog for car rides. I take him everywhere with me. The dog park. He's very friendly around other dogs.
What kind of dog is he?
He's a boxer.
Okay.
He's 11.
And what's his name?
Clyde. His name's
All
Clyde.
right.
And like I said, I take him everywhere with me. And we were leaving, going to my car, and a guy was riding by on his bike, kind of by the sidewalk, but in the street, closer to my side. And the dog was running on the sidewalk. And they kind of just all of a sudden saw each other.
The plaintiff's dog was running
Yes,
on the sidewalk.
yes.
Okay.
And they all of a sudden saw each other and just kind of started fighting. I ran over, lifted my dog up, pulled him back. His dog went after my dog, and then I kind of separated him, and my dog jumped back on his dog and got a hold of him. I lifted him up. When I lifted him up, he still had his skin in his teeth.
Your dog wasn't on a leash, right?
Neither dog was on a leash.
Okay.
At the same time, we looked the dog over. I apologized. He apologized for not having his dog on a leash. We went our separate ways. They came by the next day, said they needed to take their dog to the vet, blah, blah, blah. I said, here's $100 to go towards it. I'm willing to pay half of the bill.
Well, actually, you say that you tried to find him,
Correct.
and someone told you that he didn't live at the house.
Right, because
where the dog bite
because
actually
Mr.
happened.
Alexander isn't telling the truth.
Coming up, does the bill for the dog fight add up?
She brings me back a vet bill of almost $800, and she tells me that she got her dog neutered.
Plaintiff Melinda Wynn says her dog was bitten by the neighbor's dog and it required emergency surgery. She's suing for vet bills and lost wages. Defendant Joseph Alexander says he already gave $100 for the vet bills, but never agreed to pay neutering fees.
My dad was actually knocked off the bike first, and then my dog, because he was on a leash, he was tangled. And even though my dad was trying to get Mr. Alexander's dog off, he couldn't fight. It was a bigger dog, and he wouldn't let go. Mr. Alexander did eventually come out and pick up his dog, and that's how the dog finally let go of my dog and put him in his truck.
Do you have pictures of the injuries? Let me see
do.
them. Let me see them. I probably can get a better view from these photos, and then we'll look at them on the flat screen. Okay, is that the...
That's the wound the morning of at the vet when they shaved the area to take a better look at it.
Wow, that's a pretty big puncture.
Yeah.
Hole, okay.
Yeah, and they were...
Was that the only injury in this one particular area?
Correct, yeah.
My dog only has one canine. He lost the other canine, so that's from the one
So that's
tooth.
probably why he only has
All that
one
is
puncture.
a one little tooth hole.
Let's look at the next photo.
That's after he had the surgery. They had to cut the wound open deeper to clean the inside tissue, insert a suture, the drain, so that the wound could heal correctly, and then he had to also have stitches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the next one.
And that's him the day after. We even had to buy him baby socks because they didn't want him scratching and put a cone so that he wouldn't lick his wound.
Okay.
But yeah.
Did he end up being okay?
He's fine.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
So you go and you try to find the defendant.
That night of, my dog ran home by himself. My dad was knocked off the bike, so he quickly asked Mr. Alexander if he resided at that
And
house.
had the two of you met before
Never.
this incident? Okay.
Never, yeah. So my dad followed my dog all the way home. My dog was home. He told me what happened, so I quickly went to go check my dog, and that's when I noticed he had the wound. So.
But you went to find him because you wanted him to be responsible for
Correct.
the vet bills.
Yes,
because
and I wanted to let him know that my dog was injured.
What happened when you went to the house? Did you end up finding him? How did
Not
you
until
locate
the
him?
next morning. When I finally see him at the house, I approached him with my brother. I let him know that his dog did bite my dog, and he did have to have surgery. He was at the vet.
It was a dog fight. It wasn't my dog biting her.
Why
her
was your dog
by the-
fighting with my dog that was on a leash?
Your dog was not on a leash.
Yes,
you weren't
okay.
there, so I mean, it's.
But you did actually agree to pay the vet bill.
Yes, I did.
Correct?
And
okay.
I actually gave her, I said, here's $100 out of my pocket, just show good faith, bring me back the vet bill and we'll
That's
work
actually
something out.
not what happened.
And she brings me back a vet bill of almost $800, and she tells me that she got her dog neutered, and all the neutering charges are on my bill.
Let me see a copy of the bill that you provided to him. Let me see what you have as well, sir.
This is the original her bill, and this is a neutering bill. And you can compare them. The catheterization, the anesthesia are all parts of the neutering.
What kind of training and experience do you have for you to come into court to say anesthesia wouldn't be needed for that surgery and that anesthesia was used for neutering?
I don't see any reason to put someone to sleep, a dog to sleep for a couple
I'm
seconds.
not asking you
deep
what you
his wound
see.
was?
You don't have any professional training or experience in this area, so I'm not relying on your opinion. Now, if you wanted to bring in an expert and have an expert come in here and break down this bill for me, that's one thing, but I'm not relying on your opinion, sir.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
So the issue in this case really wasn't about liability because you agreed from the very beginning that your dog bit the plaintiff's dog and you agreed to pay the vet bills from the very beginning. The dispute came in when you actually got a copy of the vet bill and you saw the itemized list and you felt that she had some procedures done that you shouldn't pay for. She admitted that the neutering was on the bill. She deducted that from the bill. And in her lawsuit today, she deducted the $100 that you paid towards the vet bill. I do find you liable for the rest of the vet bill. You agreed to pay it and you haven't done that. I find in favor of the plaintiff in this case, I'm not awarding you for lost wages, but I am awarding you for the remainder of the vet bill and your court fees. Verdict for the plaintiff, $657.95. You need to pay the rest of the bill.
These two motorists run into each other, but one just wants to run away.
All of a sudden, bam! And I just see this big red car just literally like ripping my door. It's like just crunching it all up. And I'm yelling, stop, what are you doing? Stop.
It didn't seem like it was much damage, so I kept on going.
Let me make sure I understand this. You were able to assess the damage to his vehicle while you were still driving as you hit his door?
And later, this couple met online and married in Hawaii.
Was it a dating site or was it like a social media type of site?
I think it was MySpace.
Oh, MySpace, okay.
Yeah.
This was back in the 80s then, no, I'm just kidding.
But now it's paradise lost.
I was constantly supporting us throughout our marriage.
That's what a lot of spouses have to do sometimes.
Plaintiff Alexander Perryman says that he was sitting in his car when the defendant hit him and then kept on driving. He is suing for damages to his vehicle. He is joined in court by friend Antoine Hubbard. Defendant Michael Williams says the accident was the plaintiff's fault since he left his car door wide open. He's countersuing for harassment, pain and suffering, and lost wages.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Perryman versus Williams.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, Mr. Alexander Perryman.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing the defendant, Michael Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
For $2,352 for damages to your vehicle you say he caused as a result of a car accident?
Yes, indeed. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll start with you, Mr. Perryman. What's going on here?
Well, good morning to you, Judge, or afternoon. Well, sorry. Sorry about that. On June 15th, I go to a friend's house, my friend Pat. He was throwing a Father's Day picnic and took my children with me, having a great time, you know, a lot of great laughs, food, drinks, that sort of thing. As the evening got on, pretty much about 12 or 1 o'clock, everyone started to leave.
In the morning?
Yes, in the morning.
Okay.
12, 1 o'clock in the morning, everyone started to leave.
That's not true.
Everyone started to leave about 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, Your Honor. And what ended up happening was I go to my car. I'm a music producer, been doing it for 23 years. I wanted to basically show my brother some music that I've been working on. So I go to my car, get inside of it, start it up, that sort of thing. Couldn't find the song that I was looking for. So went ahead and turned my car off, checked my mirrors, just to make sure if anybody was coming down the street or anything like that, because I was going to get out of the car. Opened the car door slightly, not too much, and all of a sudden, bam! You know, there's this crash. I look over to my left, I'm startled because I'm scared, I don't know what's going on, and I just see this big red car just literally like ripping my door. It's like just crunching it all up, ripping it all up, just steady going, and I'm yelling, "Stop, what are you doing, stop!" And I mean, the window is down on Mike Williams' truck, I mean, clearly.
Did you see him in the car at that point?
Yeah, I seen him in the car.
Did you know him?
I was introduced to him earlier in that day.
Okay.
My brother's house.
Okay. Like I said, I'm in the car, I'm yelling at him, "Stop, stop, what are you doing?" You know, and he's steady going. I mean, he didn't hear me. He didn't have any headlights on or anything. I mean, he's steady going. I mean, just steady moving.
Not true.
And I mean, everyone that was there at the party, they seen it. I mean, everyone is saying, you know, looking like in amazement, like, what is going on here? He never stopped. He never came back. And he kept going on. So at this
he kept
point,
driving, so he left the party?
Yes, he left the party.
Okay, so what happened?
That's not true.
Okay.
I left the party, right? When his door was wide open.
Definitely
Wide
true.
open.
So
And
you
it's
saw
pitch
his
black
door?
on the block. No, it didn't. It's pitch black on the block.
It's not.
It's only like one car go down the street.
Okay, sir, you said his door was wide open.
Wide open.
So you saw his door before you hit it then?
No, I didn't.
How do you know his door was wide open? Excuse me, sir.
So I got
How
up
do you know
on it.
his
So I
door
got
was
up on the
wide
car.
open? I'm sorry?
I got up on the car. It's wide open.
Okay, and so you tried to slow down to avoid hitting the door?
No, I was going past already. I couldn't slow down. I was letting the car roll. I couldn't slow down.
Okay,
It happened already.
So you hit
It happened
his
already.
car.
I didn't realize till I heard it.
Okay, and so what did you do after you realized you hit his car?
It's like it didn't seem like it was much damage, so I kept on going.
So you just kept going.
It wasn't much damage
So
to the
you
car.
were able to.
It wasn't much damage to the car.
What sense does this make?
Let me make sure I understand this. You were able to assess
I didn't hear no
the
sound
damage.
like you're saying. All that
Hold on a
noise said.
second. You were able to assess the damage to
No.
his vehicle
No,
while
ma'am.
you were still driving
No,
as
ma'am.
you hit
No,
his
ma'am.
door?
No.
And so that's why
No.
you kept going?
No. I didn't
How
realize
long,
I hit
had
his
you been
door.
how long had you been at this party?
About an hour.
And had you been drinking?
No, that's not
beers.
true, Your Honor.
Couple beers.
That's
What'd
not
you-
true.
Hold on a second.
Couple beers.
That's what everyone says, by the way, when they've been drinking and they get in
I
the
had
car
been
to
to my daughter's
drive.
game one day.
Everyone
Yeah.
says they've only had 2 drinks. No one has ever had more than 2 drinks.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Who's
So,
your witness today?
my witness is my brother Antoine. He was there with me.
Can you step up, sir?
Yeah.
You wasn't even out there.
What'd you say, boy?
You wasn't even out there.
He was
man.
definitely
I
out
won.
there.
I know
Okay,
when I
can you
got there
tell me-
about 10 o'clock, you was still there.
Mr. Hubbard, speak to me.
Yes,
please.
ma'am.
What did you witness?
I witnessed him coming around the corner. He didn't have on no headlights.
Why do you
Not
have your
true. My
headlights
headlights on
on?
auto. They on auto all the time, so he comes on automatically.
It was-
That's
So
not
you're
true.
saying you did have your
Yes, ma'am.
headlights on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
When he
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I did.
turned the corner,
I'll never turn my headlights
Alexander's
off.
door was
Never turn the
cracked.
headlights off. It's
He
on auto.
sideswiped his
Sir,
car.
stop interrupting, please.
He sideswiped the car, but if you look at the pictures, you'll see where he hit the door on the edge. If the door was open, he would have knocked the door all the way back if he hit the car.
Okay.
Everybody trying to flag him down and stop
He
him.
kept going.
Yes, he kept
going.
stopping.
Okay.
He kept on going.
Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Thank you. Okay, let's see the photos.
Okay, now as you can see there, Your Honor, the door was not wide open at all. Like I said, he was so close to me that he opened the door. If the door was wide open,
so it kind of bent in this way.
Yes, it bent in this way, and
No.
then as he was moving, the door was opening wider, but it did not tear completely off.
Sir, why are you trying to describe what's in the photos? You said it was dark that night.
He was intoxicated.
And you kept
was
going.
drunk.
So what would you know about the damages?
Coming up on Judge Faith, how many other car accidents has this gentleman been in?
He, in fact, recommended me to the auto body shop that I went to get the estimate.
Most people don't have a person on call that they use to have estimates for car damages. So how would you have a person on call?
Let you know how many accidents this man has.
And later, Judge Faith untangles this lover's quarrel.
Miss Reese refused to change her last name to mine. It wouldn't have been such a big deal if it was her maiden name, but her last name is her ex-husband's last name.
Plaintiff Alexander Perryman is suing for damages to his car after a hit and run. Defendant Michael Williams says the accident is the fault of both parties, and he's not solely responsible.
I talked to Mr. Williams on the 17th.
At work?
Mr. Williams,
Excuse me, sir.
Mr.
Stop
Williams
interrupting.
openly admitted to me that it was his fault, that he had been drinking that night,
That's a
that
lie.
he hadn't even realized that he had hit my car. He didn't even realize that it happened.
Not true.
He was just that intoxicated. I mean, who drives a car and you're that drunk where you don't realize that you hit a car door and you keep going? He was drunk. And he openly admitted that that's what happened.
Not true.
So
Why do you, sir? Stop saying that's not true. You'll have an opportunity to respond in a
Thank you,
second.
Your Honor.
I get it. Everything he's saying is not true.
Okay.
I understand
Right,
your
Your Honor.
position, but let me hear what he has to say.
Okay.
I talked to Mr. Williams. He said that he would assess the damages. He'll pay for it out of pocket. He admitted to me that he did not want to go through his insurance because he had an accident earlier in that year where he wrecked his mother's car
Is that
because
true?
of intoxication.
No, my son did it. My son was driving.
Yes,
So did
yes,
you-
My son
were
was
you-
driving my mother's car.
Have you
I
been
was on the
arrested
passenger
for
side. No,
DUI
never,
before? Have
never.
you been stopped for DUI?
Never.
Okay.
Never.
Where did you get that information from?
Right.
I got it from his brother that was also there as well.
That's not true.
I got it from Patty and his brothers. I
You can
would
look
not
it up.
fabricate this.
I
Your
never
Honor.
have got
So
arrested.
you have a conversation with the defendant. He
Yes.
admits fault.
Yes, he admits
That he's
fault.
responsible.
Absolutely.
And then the issue came down to when you asked him for, did you submit some kind of proof of damages to him?
Well, actually, he in fact recommended me to the auto body shop that I went to get the
That's true.
estimate.
That's true.
Did you send him to your auto collision
Yes, I did.
person? Okay,
To
and
get
how
estimate
is it
for the
that
insurance
most
company.
people don't have a person on call that they use to
It's not a call. It's what-
estimates for car damages? So how
Thank
would
you.
you have a person on
Let
call?
you know how many
That's my car.
accidents this man has.
That's where I took my car to.
Just let you know how many
That's where I took
accidents
my
he
car.
had.
Okay. Mr. Williams,
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
me about your counterclaim, sir. What lost wages have you suffered as a result
3
of
days
this case?
off work.
3 days?
For what?
My car was in the shop.
Okay,
Really?
and you blame
That was
the
from
plaintiff
hangover.
for that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was from the hangover.
Yes. And harassment.
That's what it was from. It was from
and
him
harassment,
being-
calling me excessive times a day. Harassment,
How's
calling me
he-
second
how's
times a
he
day. At
harassing
work.
you?
At work.
Because he was calling trying to get payment for his car?
Exactly.
That's the harassment?
That's what he's trying to do.
Okay, sir.
I mean, for it.
Your counterclaim is
true.
dismissed.
You was out of town one of the
So
times.
you know.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Exactly. The fact that I had to call this man, I mean, it just shows his irresponsibility as a man. I mean, what are you still a kid? Are you wearing diapers or something? I mean, what's going on? I shouldn't have to check up on a grown man to actually handle his responsibility. I had insurance. Thank you very much.
So here's the deal. First of all, the fact that you're saying, well, it was minimal damage, that's why I didn't stop, I don't believe that for a second. I don't know if you had been drinking and that's why you kept going and you just didn't know what you were doing. I don't know what your reason was. Maybe perhaps you thought he doesn't know who I am. I can just drive away and he won't be able to, he won't know. But whatever it was, it doesn't matter. You can't do that. If you hit someone's car causing them damage, the right thing to do, the stand-up thing to do is stay at the scene and address the fact of what you just did and handle your responsibility.
Thank you.
You understand?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Your Honor. Thank you.
So, judgment in this case for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,352 plus court cost. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Plaintiff Tiffany Ruiz took care of all the bills for her husband, but now that they are divorced, she'd like to be reimbursed. She is suing for $6,500. Defendant John Markham says that his ex-wife wanted to help him get his life back on track and that he shouldn't have to pay for things that they shared during the marriage.
Tiffany Ruiz?
Yes, ma'am.
You were suing the defendant, John Markham, for $6,500 for repayment of unemployment, and I'll let you explain to me what that means, court fines, and license reinstatement fees. You understand the statutory maximum in my court is $5,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and as I understand it, the defendant is your ex-husband.
Yes.
And you are saying that you loaned him money before you got married and during the course of the marriage.
Yeah, I loaned him money before we were married, and then when we were at the tail end of our marriage.
Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. How did all of this happen? When did you first meet Mr. Markham?
I met Mr. Markham in 2007, I do believe, and met him on the internet, and we started dating. Everything was good. He was a very nice guy, swept me off my feet, you know, bought flowers and special things, and it was all really, really good.
What website, do you remember?
I don't.
Okay.
I actually think it was MySpace.
Oh, MySpace, okay.
Yeah.
This was back in the 80s then, no, I'm just kidding.
Kind of felt like
Long
it.
time ago.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
And he had a catchy line, and I was coming off
What
of
was the catchy line?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I just remember it being the line.
Okay, the one that worked.
The one that worked,
All
that got
right.
me interested, yeah. Started dating, like I guess any couple would, go out, have a good time. He lived in Boise and I lived in Nampa, Idaho, and I guess it was just like any other kind of dating. So before we got married, he had a warrant. He had several citations that I had no idea about, wasn't something that John really kind of divulged. We got into a circumstance where he was bringing me insurance, and he got his license and his registration ran for the truck that he was driving, and the police arrested him at that time for an outstanding warrant.
For what?
Failure to pay fines.
Okay.
He spent his 30 days, and I waited for him. But part of his contract for being released on his 30 days after his thing was to get his fines paid, because he had several that were not taken care of for a really long time. So he had to have those things taken care of in order to stay out of jail.
Well, you say you loaned him the money. How much was it?
When I looked it all up, at that time it was $2,800.
Yeah, because it's been so long. We're talking about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And now you're bringing this to court.
Mm-hmm.
How much did you pay for tickets? Can you tell me what the conversation was? Do you remember?
I just threw it out to her and gave her the option, you know, could you help me? If not, I understand, I will find my means to do it, but I want to get this settled and get my life in order.
And did you ask for any of this money back before you got married?
Yes, he was going to be paying it back, yes.
Was that true, sir?
To help pay her back, if any means possible, but go from there.
If you were asking, like, if there's a timeline when he was supposed to pay me back, no. He was just supposed to get a job and continue to pay me back for these particular fines.
And so you gave him all this money, and you're just dating him. He's not your husband. How long have you known him at this point?
About a year.
You're also suing for loans you say you gave to him during the course of your marriage?
Correct.
Tell me about that. Where'd you get married?
Hawaii.
Where did you live after you were married?
We lived in Idaho for a little while, and then we moved to Hawaii.
What state is your marriage license from?
Hawaii.
Coming up, is the plaintiff only bringing up this case now because her ex has found another love?
Your husband makes a comment about how great it is to marry a sugar mama.
So where were you served?
At my in-laws' house the day before my wedding.
I couldn't find him.
Plaintiff Tiffany Ruiz says she is owed money for loans that were not a gift to her ex. Defendant John Markham says that he shouldn't have to pay for things they shared while they were married.
Part of the loans and stuff too is, I mean, John had a really hard time holding consistent jobs. Part of that reason was because he was a certified exhaust tech, a well tech, and in order to drive those cars, he had to have a license. So every time he would get the job, he would have no trouble getting the job. They would let him go because their insurance would not cover him because he had no license. So I was constantly supporting us throughout our marriage, and that was becoming an issue. So we couldn't afford to live.
That's what a lot of spouses have to do sometimes.
This was to an extreme. I mean,
if I may have job jumped. I did do that. but I was always consistent about having jobs, and I never went very long without having a job or having income.
And,
Okay.
I have stuff here too, Your Honor, for like the W-2 showing how much unemployment John had collected because he had been unemployed for so many times. And so
You married him. I mean, you know, this is your husband that you're talking about here.
things change. You know, when something is amazingly great and then all of a sudden you get married and your parents tell you that your husband makes a comment about how great it is to marry a sugar mama, things change. And John changed. And things that he would say and things that he would do.
Ma'am. It is, however, true that the reason that our marriage did eventually fall apart was due to the circumstances that 6 months into the marriage, Miss Reese refused to change her last name to mine, and which wouldn't have been such a big deal if it was her maiden name, but her last name is her ex-husband's last name.
And the reason I did that, Your Honor, John was never allowed to be on my bank accounts. I'm going to do that because I'm giving myself to somebody fully. And unfortunately, after we got married and I found out all these things, I wasn't going to let him on my bank accounts. I wasn't going to change my name because I didn't see the marriage as lasting.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Why are you doing this now? Why have you brought this lawsuit now?
He stopped making payments.
And the fact that it's a little awkward to me that I had just previously gotten married. I just got married last month.
I can answer why. I couldn't find him. So I found where his wife, now wife, had posted where they were getting married and what was going on, and that was the only way I could have him served. I had no idea
where were you
he
served?
was.
Actually, at my in-laws' house the day before my wedding.
I couldn't find him.
You didn't have a prenuptial agreement, right?
No.
And you just told me that you didn't have a post-nuptial agreement. You don't have anything in writing about who will be responsible for what debts. When you're married and you're living in California, which is in a community property state, that means that there's joint ownership in your marriage. When you acquire property, that's joint ownership. The same thing applies to debt. If you wanted him to pay back this money, this should have been a part of your divorce dissolution, your divorce decree, a post-nuptial agreement. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at this is community property debt, ma'am. I cannot order him to pay back community property debt. Unfortunately, I cannot help you. Your case is dismissed, judgment for the defendant.
This sketchy scooter seems like a scam.
This is a Chinese scooter. This is a problem that California's had.
He thought it was like a scam.
But the seller says the bike was good to go.
I registered it in Oregon, but I never drove it.
When you're buying a used scooter as is, it's incumbent upon you to do your homework.
And later, this landlord says she heard every excuse in the book from this tenant.
There were excuses from the beginning, from the first day. She didn't have the rent.
Because my grandpa passed away on January, my goddaughter February, my grandma April, and then my husband left me.
During the time period that you lived there, did you ever pay the full amount of rent for 1 month? Did you ever pay $1,200 in one single month?
Plaintiff Angelo Quaranta says he bought a scooter that couldn't be registered to drive. He's suing for a refund of $700. He's joined in court by his wife, Paulina Quaranta. Defendant Paul Leonard claims he sold the bike to the plaintiff as is, and he owes nothing.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this is Quaranta versus Leonard.
Thank you, Barbara. Mr. Quaranta, you are suing the defendant for $700 for a full refund of a scooter you purchased from him. Mr. Leonard, you say you are not obligated to give a refund to the plaintiff because you sold the scooter as is. Why don't you tell me about your case? And
Okay.
who's standing next to you?
My wife, Paulina.
Hi, are you a witness as well?
I'm his witness, yeah.
Okay. So tell me about your case.
Okay, in this last March, I saw online this scooter that was interesting to buy because I was needed like to buy a scooter for good work.
Were Ms. Corinta, were you a part of the purchase as well?
I was.
Why don't you tell me what happened?
Sure. He saw this scooter online and showed it to me right away. And he was looking for something just to get to work with.
Was it an ad on Craigslist or another website? Okay.
Craigslist. And so we called the defendant and set up a time when we could come by and look at the scooter, and we sort of had to work around his doctor appointments.
Do you have the ad with you?
We do not.
What did you post?
I posted an ad for a scooter saying that was, I think, when they called me, it was $925 is what I was asking for it. It had previously been $1,100. I was telling people in the ad that I had recently had a heart attack in January and that I didn't feel comfortable driving, so it's got to go. And it's sold as is.
And so you had it listed for how much originally?
Originally $1,100, then when they called, I believe it was $925 or maybe $950.
And is that how much you purchased the scooter for?
No, they purchased it for $700.
Okay, so you bargained it down and you ended up purchasing it for $700. And what happened after you? What kind of scooter is it, by the way?
I don't know. I bought it in Oregon, and just so I could get around with.
What do you mean you don't know? What did you? What did you put in
It
the
doesn't
ad?
have a name brand like a Yamaha or Kawasaki or anything like that. It's just a scooter.
Because before we went to see the scooter.
So did you purchase the scooter? Did it have a brand on it? Okay, what was the brand?
It says Fury on the side.
You have a photo? Let me see.
I do.
Barbara, would you?
Yeah.
Can we pull this photo up on the flat screen?
I don't believe Fury is the brand of it.
Okay, and is this a photo of it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay, so tell me, and you all live in the state of California, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, tell me what happened after you gave them the title.
Yes.
And the paperwork to the scooter, right?
Yes.
And did you take the scooter to get registered?
The very next day.
What happened? What happened when you went to DMV the next day?
The DMV, they were looking for the secondary VIN number, apparently. It had a VIN number, but it needed a secondary VIN number, which they couldn't find.
So you couldn't register it?
We could not.
Yeah. So what did you do next?
The DMV redirected us to the California Highway Patrol. And we had to wait about a month for that appointment. And in the meantime, we did contact Paul and asked him if he knew anything about it, if he knew about any problems.
What did you find out when you went to California Highway Patrol?
We got there, and I had a brief phone call conversation with the officer who, just from the information I told him about the bike and what the DMV said, they said, it sounds like you're not gonna be able to register this, but come on in. We got there, and he's like, he said his hunch was kind of correct, because he looked at it, he said, no, this is a Chinese scooter. This is a problem that California's had.
A Chinese scooter as in it's manufactured in China and not in the United States?
Correct.
And so that would explain why a second VIN number didn't come up?
He thought it was like a scam.
A scam.
Coming up, are all states equal?
The rules and regulations for scooters and mopeds and motorcycles in California, they can be a bit complicated.
And later, did trusting a tenant's excuses add up to losses for this landlord?
This is your first time meeting her, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so why would you trust someone you knew for 2 minutes? I can understand leaving a pair of shoes or a shirt, but who leaves a dog in their home and moves out? Like, who leaves a dog?
Plaintiff Angelo Quantra says he bought a scooter that couldn't be registered to drive. He's suing for a refund of the purchase price. Defendant Paul Leonard claims he sold the bike as is, so the sale is final.
These Chinese scooters, there was kind of a problem with them coming in, people selling them on Craigslist and selling them online. And they are mainly allowed only into the state of California as like a parts-only vehicle. They're just sold for parts. They're not road legal, but they're considered gray market. So we asked the California Highway Patrol officer, well, what do we do now? And he said, contact the defendant, have him give you your money
Do you know
back.
anything about what they're talking about with the scooter not being made in the U.S.? Where did you say you purchased it from?
I bought it at an auction in Oregon.
And you drove it and registered it in Oregon? The scooter?
I registered it in Oregon, but I never drove it because I don't have a motorcycle license myself.
Okay, and how did the scooter get from Oregon to California?
In my trailer.
So you relocated to California and you never had the scooter registered here?
Correct.
So the first time the scooter was to be registered in California, it appears to be when you tried to take it to DMV and you found out the information.
Correct.
Here's what happens in California when you have a scooter like this. First of all, if it doesn't have a secondary VIN number, that means that it doesn't have a federal certified sticker, which means the vehicle wasn't created and manufactured in the United States. It was manufactured elsewhere. And if that is found to be the case, there are a couple of statutes and regulations that govern this kind of vehicle in California. I don't think it's incumbent upon the defendant to know all of those regulations. I found out this information by making one phone call. I made one phone call and got the information in one call. And when you're making a purchase and you're spending $700, it really is incumbent upon you to do a little research before you make the purchase, because he sold it as is. And when he sold it to you as is, he didn't tell you, yes, you can definitely go out and register this scooter with the DMV. He didn't tell you anything. I think it'd be different if he had told you, you can take this scooter to the DMV and you can register it, because then he would be fraudulently inducing you to buy it. You knew the make and the model and what year it was, and you could have taken that to the DMV, found out for yourself, is this a scooter that we can register? Is this a scooter that we can use for the purposes that we want to use it in the state of California? That wasn't incumbent upon him, that was incumbent upon you. So my judgment in this case, verdict is for the defendant. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Plaintiff Celia Acosta claims she handed over the keys to a tenant who wouldn't pay rent and trashed the place. She's suing for $2,455 in unpaid rent and property damage. Defendant Claudia Torres says she had an agreement to pay back rent once she got back on her feet, but was suddenly kicked out by the landlord.
Miss Celia Acosta?
Yes.
You were suing the defendant, Claudia Torres. She is your former tenant, and you say she owes you for unpaid rent and property damage in the amount of $2,455?
Yes, that's right, Your Honor.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, we had problems from the beginning. Even from the first month of rent, she didn't have it.
How did you know the defendant?
She saw an ad and called me and, applied to get my house for rent.
Where was the ad, online?
I think it was on paper.
Okay, and can you describe the property?
It's a 4-bedroom house. It's next to my house where I live.
What month did the defendant move in?
November.
Of 2013?
13. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how long did she live there?
About 6 months.
Did she pay a security deposit?
Yes.
How much?
$600.
Did you enter into a lease agreement?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, I do.
May I see it?
Mm-hmm.
And when did you first start having problems?
From the first day, Your Honor, she didn't have the month for the rent for the first month, and she
didn't have first month's rent?
Yeah.
And was that something that you asked her to pay up front before moving in?
Yes, and she said she had it, so I called her and said, well, you can start moving in today if you want to, and I'll give you the keys. And she said she had it, so I went and we walked through the house, and they were ready to move in, so I gave her the key, and when I asked for the money, she said, oh, I don't have it, but I'll have it tomorrow.
Okay, you didn't take the key back at that point?
No, I trusted her. I don't know why, but...
This was your first time meeting her,
yes.
Correct? So why would you trust someone you knew for 2 minutes?
Well, from the application, that it looked like they were people that were working, and I thought that they would have the money,
Okay, so how many people moved in addition to the defendant into the home, initially?
Initially, it was supposed to be her grandparents, her boyfriend, and 2 kids.
So what happened? Did you ever get your first month's rent?
And small payments of $100, $200, $400.
Excuse me. The first month was paid with the $600 deposit.
And
then
not the first month,
second
Claudia.
month, that's when I
Not the first
started
month.
having issues paying on time. I did have issues paying on time.
Okay, so the second month, so let's say November, you move in November, you gave her a $600 security deposit. And you say that was used for first month's rent?
That was before we moved in. We didn't make a walk-in before somebody was moving their stuff out.
But your rent was $1,200 a month. So How much did you pay for the first month when you moved in?
When I
$600
moved
or
in-
$1,200?
No, $1,200.
Zero.
$1,200.
Coming up, excuses, excuses.
Because I stopped working.
Your Honor, there were excuses from the beginning.
You have an excuse for everything.
Plaintiff Celia Acosta claims her tenant wouldn't pay, then trashed the house. She's suing for unpaid rent and property damage. Defendant Claudia Torres says she had an agreement to allow late payments, but was suddenly evicted.
When we moved in, I moved in with my grandparents. That's one of the main issues that I moved in. My grandpa started getting sick, so I had to stop working. So I told her, you know what, I'm having issues paying the rent on time. This is why, because I stopped working.
Your Honor, there were excuses from the beginning, from the first day. She didn't have the rent. And I decided that, you know, it was the first month, so maybe she'll catch up. But it was always the same thing, always excuse
Yeah, because
after
January,
excuse.
my grandpa passed away.
But the thing
February,
that I didn't...
my goddaughter.
Hold on a second. January, your grandfather passed away?
Yes.
Okay.
Then after that, like, I made an agreement when I told her that I was moving out of the house because, like I said, my grandpa, January, my goddaughter, February, my grandma, April, and then my husband left me. So that's when I told her, you know what, I'm moving out, I can't make it. I'm by myself.
I was considerate, you know,
And she
about her
was. I'm not trying to
grandparents,
say
but I
she
couldn't
wasn't.
take it anymore.
And that's why I was taking responsibility of what I was owing her. That's why I made this letter saying, you know what, I know I owe you $400 for April, and then I owe you 17 days for May. I knew that.
May I see the letter? Barbara, would you hand me the letter? During the time period that you lived there, did you ever pay the full amount of rent for 1 month? Did you ever pay $1,200 in one single month?
No.
Okay, so it sounds like you actually had a landlord. There are a lot of landlords that would have put you out a long time ago.
I know, and I'm not...
wouldn't be sympathetic to a lot of the things that you just described, but it sounds like you had a landlord who was willing to work with you. You admit to owing $455 in April rent. You're also suing for $865 prorated May rent. Tell me about that.
I gave her a 3-day notice on April 15th, so she had to be out by May 15th or
And do you agree
14th.
that you did not pay May rent?
I do. I only had paid her half, I think a little bit over half. And I was only, oh wait, for May? No.
May.
No,
Nothing.
nothing.
Now, you are also suing for damages.
Yeah,
You
but,
say that there are $735 worth of repair materials you had to purchase. You have here
I have
that...
so many photos, Your Honor, of the damages, but the worst thing was it was infestated with roaches where they were falling on us while we walked through the house.
Okay, you have...
Yes, she even left... She took out the food from the refrigerator and left it on the counters.
Because she kicked me out.
Even meat, and there were maggots. There were maggots right there.
Did you leave the home?
That was disgusting.
Did you leave the house with roaches and maggots?
No,
and
she knew about the
infested?
roaches. She told me that.
Well, so the answer is yes.
No, I mean, she knew about the roaches when I was
clean,
living there.
Claudia, the house was clean.
When you moved
There's
in,
proof also.
when you moved in,
we started having
were
issues
there
with the
roaches and
Yes, we
maggots
did.
in the home when you
not
moved
maggots.
in?
No, not maggots.
So you chose to
the
move in
maggots were in
anyway?
the meat that you left in the kitchen.
Because you kicked me out.
You had 30 days. You had 30 days, and you didn't even take all your things out
yet. The roaches
yet.
didn't appear because you left the apartment.
No.
She's saying that this infestation took place while you lived there. Roaches,
there was
maggots,
roaches when I moved in.
etc. Is that true?
No.
Let me
there
look
was
at the
roaches when I
pictures. Let's
when
look
I
at the photos.
moved there.
What is this a photo of?
That's the kitchen.
And that's how she left the kitchen?
That's how she left it.
That's when I was moving out, taking everything.
So that was after you moved out, correct?
Yes.
Okay, next photo. What is this?
That's the garage.
The garage.
Who took the photo?
I did.
Why did you leave all the stuff in the garage?
I didn't even get to take everything.
What is this a photo of?
There was a crash from to the wall of the garage with her car.
I don't remember that. I don't.
Did your car hit the garage and cause damage?
Well, not me. I didn't.
But you knew about it. No, there's a photo.
No, I didn't know about it.
What is this a photo of?
Roaches. The roaches, alive. They were alive there.
Oh, God,
live
that's
roaches.
disgusting.
A little bit of
What room was this in?
I believe that's the kitchen.
But when I took the photos, I just felt like she had abandoned the place. She even abandoned a dog.
There was a dog. You left a dog inside of the
Because I was supposed to
house?
go back and get all my things, and she just told me, you know what, you can't come back. That's what she said. That's why she took all those things.
I'm sorry. I can understand leaving a pair of shoes or,
No, I know.
or a shirt, but who leaves a dog in their home and moves out? Like, who leaves a dog? You just seem to have so many. You have an excuse for everything. No matter what I ask you, you literally do not take responsibility for anything.
I am taking responsibility.
No, you don't. No,
I am
don't.
Thank you.
I'm here, and I told her, you know, this is where I'm moving to. If I wasn't going to take responsibility, I was just left and disappear.
There were just
I wanted to start
excuses
making
and
payments
lies, and
when I would be in my full.
Even if you are going through a rough time and you don't have money to pay rent, you don't have to leave someone's home in a disgusting condition like that. Do you understand?
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff. I'm going to award you $1,135 in back rent and $500 in damages, and I'm ordering you to pay her this money since you are working now and you're making $400 a week. Judgment for the plaintiff in this case in the amount of $1,635.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This landlord is super strict about his lease.
Oh, you hired a private investigator?
Yes, you can't just break your lease because you lost a job.
I was doing the right thing. I could have stayed. I didn't want to get evicted.
But the tenant says she was just being a good mom.
I'm a single mom and I have to do what I have to do for my kids, and that was not paying the rent. I've never had to do that in the past, but in this situation, I had to. He is the worst landlord I've ever had.
People who move in the middle of the night, usually, you know, they're trying to hide, they're trying to escape town.
And later, is this customer satisfied or terrified?
I got a picture of the man on the bike. He's smiling. He's happy with
Do I
it.
look
He's
like
talking
I'm
about
smiling?
his wreck. He's smiling.
But as
he's
you can
happy to ride
see,
the
he's
bike.
standing on the side of that bike because he knows if he rides that bike without title, without it being registered, he could be arrested and pulled over.
Plaintiff Gary Sharma says his former tenant broke her lease and left the place dirty. He's suing for $6,232 in back rent and damages. Defendant Cassandra Fisher says the condo was run down, and it's not her fault the landlord couldn't find a new tenant.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Sharma versus Fisher.
Thank you, Barbara. Gary Sharma?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant Cassandra Fisher for $6,232 you say she owes you for lost rent, damages to property, and private investigator fees.
Yes.
Okay, why don't you tell me what happened?
Well, she was my tenant for 4 years. She signed a brand new lease on April 1st, and she
April 1st of what year?
Of this year.
Okay. What kind of residence is it?
It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, 1,000 square feet.
Okay, do you have the lease with you?
Yes.
May I see it, please? Yeah. And what was she paying in rent every month?
Well, it varied because the rent changed every year.
Well, the new lease that she
$1,650.
signed. Okay, $1,650. Yes. Okay, and what happened?
Well, she broke the lease at the end of April, at the end of the first month. She trashed the place. I just spent 8 weeks rehabbing it and finding a new tenant. And then I had to, of course, hire a private investigator to find her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you hired a private investigator?
Yes.
Okay, and what happened after you hired the private investigator? How did he find her?
He found her within a few days, and I had her served.
Okay, so what happened, Ms. Fisher?
First of all, I have been a tenant of his for the last 4 years. He is the worst landlord I've ever had. He basically, as soon as I moved in 4 years ago, I brought numerous repairs and issues with the condo.
Right, but let me just stop you there because you voluntarily signed a lease.
I did.
For 3 years, so I don't want to hear about any issues you had 3 years that you lived there when you renewed the lease every year. So my question to you is, you have a lease, you sign it, April 1st, 2014, and it's a 1-year lease. When did you move out?
The very last day of April, I think it was April 30th.
Okay.
I lost my job April 12th after 10 years.
Okay. And
yeah.
so, and that precipitated you breaking the lease and moving out?
I notified him right away. I'm a single parent of 2. I notified him as soon as I lost my job that I had to basically move out. I couldn't continue to live at the, at the condo at that time. I was gonna have to move out.
And you knew that in a matter of, because I mean, a lot of people in this economy go through ups and downs, and you may lose your job, and I'm sorry that that happened, because I know it's tough. But why did you feel that that was your only option, was to, in a matter of a few weeks, just break your lease and move? Where'd you move to?
Oregon. Basically, the cost of living, because I wasn't gonna sign a new lease with him. I was actually looking around.
Are you paying rent now?
Yes.
How much are you paying?
$985.
Okay.
I had an opportunity to move to Oregon and stay with a friend for a little while. I knew I couldn't stay and continue to pay rent without a job. So I basically just decided to, let him know right away and tell him I couldn't continue my lease, which I'd never done in the past. But in this certain situation, I really felt like I had no option.
And did she have a conversation with you about
Actually, it was at the end of April, around April 25th or so.
I called you the day I lost my job.
No,
Yes, I did.
Around April 25th, that she texted me and says, I lost my job, I may be moving in a few days.
That's not true.
And I told her that you can't just break your lease because you lost a job.
I was doing the right thing. I could have stayed. I didn't want to get evicted. I basically told him I have to move. I'm a single mom and I have to do what I have to do for my kids, and that was not paying the rent. I've never had to do that in the past, but in this situation, I had to.
Okay, so you leave and then you hire the private investigator.
Well, first I had to fix the place up. So it took 3 or 4 weeks to fix it up, and then it took another 6 weeks to rent. So I didn't hire the private investigator until I knew all my damages, what they were. And then I hired her. Actually, I filed a case.
And what damages do you say she caused in the unit?
Well, besides the rent, she also damages my garage door motor. There was a 1-car garage associated with the condo.
Did you break the motor?
No.
I have a picture.
Okay, what's that about?
I have a picture. Well, after she left, I looked at the place. I opened the garage door, and the chains were broken. The chains were hanging from the motor.
Do you know anything about that?
No. It was working fine when I left.
Let me see the photos.
I have the photo, and
Do you have any proof that prior to her moving in, the garage door was working?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had gotten a brand new garage door motor before she moved in. I mean,
let me see the photos.
That's how it looked when I opened the garage door on May 1st.
And let me see the receipt.
Okay.
So this is the $498
Correct.
receipt?
There's a receipt, and then there's a credit card statement showing that I paid it.
Okay, next photo. What is this a photo of?
That shows the damaged carpet.
Where's the damage?
Damage is actually the whole condo. This is the living room, and there's also damage in both bedrooms and the hallway, and then also the linoleum floor.
Well, I don't see any damage to the carpet. This is the old carpet that you said was so damaged.
No, what happened was I had a month before that I had the carpets professionally cleaned.
Okay, and the carpet looks fine. I don't.
No, actually, there's. It's completely stained.
You're not getting money for damages to the carpet.
And also, there was urine on the carpet too.
Yeah, because you're not getting damages.
Okay.
You're not getting money for damages to the carpet. 4 years, you need to replace the carpet before someone else moves in.
Coming up on Judge Faith, is this landlord willing to do anything to get paid?
I've never had a landlord come in and say they hired a private investigator to find someone. So you're like pretty serious about your leases and your tenants.
And later, has anyone seen the title?
I bought the motorcycle with a bill of sale, so I never had a title.
I texted him back and I was like, hey, I forgot your tag. When do you want it? He said, when you bring it back to me, just leave it in the grass.
In the grass?
Yeah.
Landlord Gary Sharma is suing his former tenant for back rent and damages. Defendant Cassandra Fisher says her landlord didn't fix things, so she doesn't owe.
You have a duty to mitigate when someone breaks their lease. She admits that she broke the lease, but you have a duty to mitigate, and that means you have to find a new tenant to move into the unit. Did you find a new tenant to move into the unit, and can you show me a lease showing the month and date?
Yeah. This is the new lease for the new tenant.
When I say duty to mitigate, I mean mitigate damages, because when you break your lease and you don't pay rent, that is considered to be a damage. Okay, so the new tenant signed the lease and moved in on, it started on July 5th of 2014.
Correct.
So from May 1st of 2014 to July 5th, 2014, you did not have a tenant living in that unit due to the defendant breaking the lease?
Correct, it was vacant.
Okay. I've never had a landlord come in and say they hired a private investigator to find someone. So you're like pretty serious about your leases and your tenants. So do you have a receipt for the private investigator?
I do.
How did you know this? Do you have a private investigator on call? How did you know who to
No,
call?
I just Googled him.
Oh, you just Googled him?
I got lucky. I found a guy who's good.
Okay. I guess so. All right. Let me see the receipt for the private investigator. And so in these situations where, because I've had to break a lease before too and move, things happen during a one-year lease, and sometimes you have to break them and move. But the best thing to do is, if you don't want to be held accountable for the rent, help the landlord find a new tenant that's suitable and that he approves of, so that when you move out, you already have someone else available to move in, and that sort of helps mitigate the damages, because that's what I've had to do when I've broken a lease. I spoke to the landlord and we came to an agreement. Hey, if you find somebody else that I approve of to move in after you need to move out, it's fine, because he's not losing any money. And so it's not about, you know, the fact that you lost your job, those things happen, you had to move. I think it's more so, you know, the way you did it in the middle of the night. Like, people who move in the middle of the night, usually, you know, they're trying to hide, they're trying to escape town. And so if you had to move, the best thing that you could have done was to at least try to help him mitigate those damages by trying to find someone else who can move into the unit. Okay, so my judgment in this case is for the plaintiff. I am ordering you to pay the back rent, which totals $3,575. $498 for the broken garage door. I actually do credit his testimony on that, and I looked at the photos of the broken chains. I'm also ordering you to pay $598 real estate broker's fee, which he has proof that he paid in order to find a new person to move into the unit. In addition, $80 for the private investigator. My total judgment in this case is $4,751. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Plaintiff Dylan Tran says he bought a motorcycle from the defendant but never received the title. He's suing for a full refund of $5,100. Defendant Kelvin Turner claims a bill of sale is good enough to prove ownership. He's countersuing for $1,000 for defamation of character.
Your Honor, this is Tran versus Turner.
Thank you. Mr. Tran, you're suing the defendant for $5,100 for a refund on a motorcycle. Mr. Turner, you say you don't owe the plaintiff because the sale on the motorcycle was final, and you're countersuing for $1,000 for defamation of character. Mr. Tran, we'll start with you. What happened?
On March 7th, I met Mr. Turner on Craigslist to purchase a motorcycle that I really wanted because I've been riding for about 2 years now. And so I texted him to ask him about the information on the motorcycle, why he's selling it, if he has the title, if the pricing on it. So I texted him to meet him the next day, and he texted me the address of where we're meeting at.
So you saw a Craigslist ad for the bike?
Yes.
Do you have the ad with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'd like to see it. And prior to seeing that ad, you didn't know the defendant, correct?
No, I did not.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I met him the next day where he texted me the address. To meet him up, I drove my car there. It was an hour away. He rode the bike out to see me, and we worked out a deal. I asked him if he has a title. He said no. He said he's gonna get me a mechanic's lien to get me a title later. And he said the bike was clean. He gave me a VIN number. I said, okay. So we worked out a deal, and his ad says, you know, if I don't have $6,000, don't even talk to him. But I offered him $5,000, and he took it. I took the tag home that was on a motorcycle, and I texted him back, and I was like, hey, I forgot your tag. When do you want it? He said, when you bring it back to me, just leave it in the grass. And when he gets off work,
grass?
yeah.
Okay.
No.
What paperwork did he give you with the bike when you purchased it?
The only thing he signed was the bill of sale.
Okay, let me see that. Where is the title? Did you ever get the title?
No, I did not.
Where's the title, sir?
I bought the motorcycle with a bill of sale myself, so I never had a title for it.
Okay, when did you buy the motorcycle?
It was the 5th of January.
And why did you decide to sell it?
It was knocked over in a parking lot of my apartment complex. This lady bagged into it, and I just didn't.
That's not the story.
Let me see the bill of sale. Do you have the bill of sale
Yes,
for when you
ma'am, I do.
purchased the motorcycle? Let me see it.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And so, did you ever have the motorcycle registered in your name?
No, ma'am, I did.
Because in your state, you can't register the motorcycle in your name without a title, correct?
You can register a motorcycle in your name with a bill of sale. Yes, ma'am, you can register.
Why didn't you own the motorcycle? When did you purchase the motorcycle?
I purchased it from him back in March.
In March. So you had the motorcycle for at least 2 months.
Oh, yes,
You
ma'am.
never registered the motorcycle.
The first thing was I was paying the guy for the motorcycle. I was leasing it. So I was paying the guy for the motorcycle. Once it got wrecked, I had to give him full in cash.
Well, you gave me a bill of sale, so now I don't know which is which, if you're leasing it or if it was sold to you.
Right, okay. I was leasing the motorcycle, so therefore, the tag was still in his name and the insurance was still in his name.
This deal sounds a little bit sketchy to me.
Okay.
Because how are you able to then turn around and sell the motorcycle to him without a title?
Once the
You don't have the authority to sell a motorcycle without a title.
Coming up, how do you resolve a missing motorcycle?
Where's the bike now?
I don't have it anymore.
Where is the bike?
Plaintiff Dylan Tran says he bought a motorcycle but never received the title. He's suing for a refund. Defendant Kelvin Turner says the bike sale was final. He's countersuing for defamation of character.
So what happened in this case? Did you ever get the title to him?
No.
And you never registered the bike?
Because I couldn't, Your Honor.
Where's the bike now?
I don't have it anymore.
Where is the bike?
I didn't want like a $5,100 paperweight, so I just gave it away.
So you just gave the bike to someone else?
The bike could have been stolen. For
No,
all I
it
know.
wasn't.
Well, you
We
ran
ran
the
the
VIN
VINs.
number on the bike.
Yes,
I
we
did,
did.
but
What happened?
Yes, we did.
it came out clean. But ever since he told me that I kept contacting him, trying to rush him to give me a title, but he never did. And then he said, "Oh, I'm gonna change my phone number," and so he never gave me the new phone number. So I kept contacting the phone number that they called him, but he never picked up. Somebody else picked up. They cussed me out, so I never called back.
Let's put it up on the flat screen.
Nice motorcycle, huh?
It's a beautiful bike. It'd be great if he could register it and ride it.
That's the
He
good
gave
side
it
of
away.
it. That's actually the good side of it. The other side's wrecked.
He was happy with the bike. I got a picture of the man on the bike. He's smiling. He's happy with
Do I
it.
look
He's
like
talking
I'm
about
smiling?
his wreck. He's smiling.
But as
He's
you
happy
can
to ride
see,
the
he's
bike.
standing on the side of that bike because he knows if he rides that bike without title, without it being registered, he could be arrested and pulled over.
No, ma'am, it
How-
had valid
if the police
insurance
stop
and
him, how
tag.
do they know that bike isn't stolen if the police stop him? That's his number one concern.
He left with the bike. He was on it. He rode it home. It had a valid tag, valid insurance. He had the original bill of sale from
Listen, just because you're riding around illegally, that doesn't mean he should, okay? I don't know what you're doing over there with your flipping business.
Your Honor.
This is a unique case because you essentially sold merchandise to the plaintiff, but you didn't have the authority to do so because you didn't have a title. And you tell me in your answer you sold the motorcycle as is, that's fine. You're not making any warranties as to its drivability and wearability, but it's assumed that if you're selling a used vehicle that you have the authority to do so. And without a title, I don't know if you have that authority or not. But this is a unique situation because I can't order you to return the bike back to him because you no longer have it. I don't know who has the bike at this point. It's not in your possession.
Your Honor, I think he never owned a motorcycle because I contacted the dealer that sold the motorcycle in Texas, and they said the original owner still owns the full amount on the bike. So the bike was never his.
I can't order him to find the title, to make a good faith effort to find the title and give it to you because you no longer own the property.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Here's the bottom line. I can't clean up this mess that the two of you have made. Here are the issues. You sold him a bike that you had no authority to sell. I cannot order you to return a bike to him and him return your $5,000 because you no longer have the bike. You gave it away. There's nothing I can do here for either one of you. So both cases are dismissed. Gentlemen, have a good day.
Tension shifted into high gear when a bicycle and a car collide.
I was hurt, but at that time I didn't realize how serious the injuries were.
And they're both pointing the finger at each other.
And I got in the car and I looked, and was nobody coming?
Well, it was someone coming, you just didn't see him because he hit your car in a matter of seconds, right?
Yes.
I'm going to need to have surgery.
What kind of surgery?
Arthroscopic surgery on my knee.
Wow, so this is a pretty serious accident.
Yeah.
And later,
what was the damage to your home?
It was over $8,000.
Who's behind all of this property damage?
That's the engine to your car?
Yes.
Completely burned. Wow. We have to take responsibility for the damage caused to someone else's property when accidents happen. That's it.
Plaintiff Jeff Moss is seeking $10,000 for injuries and a damaged bicycle after a violent collision with the defendant's car. Defendant Emmanuel Pitts claims that the plaintiff was at fault and is countersuing for $465 in damages to his car.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Moss versus Pitts.
Thank you, Barbara. Jeff Moss?
Yes.
You were suing the defendant Emmanuel Pitts for $10,000.
That's correct.
For the cost of a bicycle, helmet replacement, pain and suffering and court costs?
Correct.
And you were countersuing, sir, for $465 damages to your car?
Yes.
So the two of you were involved in an accident?
Yes.
Right. Okay, where was the accident?
It was on the UCLA campus.
Okay, do you work at UCLA?
Yes.
Okay, and what do you do there?
I do maintenance.
Can you speak up for me?
Maintenance.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Sure. I bike ride every day for exercise. I ride about 200 miles a week.
Okay, good for you.
I use the UCLA campus to get to where I need to go because it's specifically marked for bikes. I was riding through campus, came up to a stop sign, stopped, got on my bike, rode about another 50 feet. Then all of a sudden, Mr. Pitts pulled out of a parking spot. And it's not like he pulled out of a parking spot slowly. It's like he pulled out as if he was making a U-turn. Real sharp turn out of the spot, didn't indicate. I hit his car. Next thing I know, I was holding on for dear life, dropped my bike and almost fell.
Did you flip over his car?
No, I did not. My impact was with his driver's door.
Okay, what were you doing? Were you making a U-turn on the street?
Yeah, I wasn't making it. I was just turning out to get out the parking lot to go the other way.
Okay, and so what happened when you hit his car?
My whole right side hit his car. My bike, front of my bike and the side of the bike took most of the impact. The bike fell. I don't know how, but I landed up on my feet.
Okay.
Once I got myself together, he got out of the car and we started talking. I asked him for his driver's license, insurance information, and he refused to give it to me.
Okay, did you not see him when he was riding his bike down the road?
No.
Okay. Did you look behind you?
Yeah, I looked.
You just didn't see anyone there?
No.
All right, go ahead, what happened? Were you injured or how was the bike damaged?
I was hurt, but at that time I didn't realize how serious the injuries were. I was more, I guess, in shock and the adrenaline was flowing than anything. This is a very specialized type of bicycle.
What kind of bicycle is it?
It's made out of carbon fiber. It's a very limited production hand-built bicycle.
When did you buy it?
I bought it 2011.
How much did you pay for it then?
About $6,000.
Okay, and so how was it damaged?
So the impact of the car hit mainly the wheels, which were demolished, the crank area, as well as the down tube, and these are called chain stays.
Can I see damages on the bike now or has it been fixed?
It has not, it's not repairable.
Did you call the police?
Yes, I did.
Do you have a police report?
I do.
Let me look at the police sketch of the scene from that day. Can you just walk over to the flat screen and show me which arrow represents you?
Sure. This is me here, vehicle 2.
Okay, so that's you traveling in that direction, and then that car is...
Yeah, and it was more of a
Mr.
turn
Pitts.
more like that
Okay.
than like that.
All right, okay, thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Pitts, were you given a ticket from the police?
No.
Did they find that you were at fault for the accident?
He said yes.
The police did?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you know why?
No.
They said because Mr. Moss had the right of way, and he was traveling down the street, and he had the right of way, and you failed to yield to him traveling down the street on his bicycle, so they found you to be at fault for the accident. Are you aware of that?
No.
You were not aware of that?
Oh, yeah, when he told me, yeah, I was aware of it.
Okay, did you have insurance on your car?
At that time, no, I didn't, because I was about to go get another insurance on my car.
So you were between insurance?
Yeah, I didn't have it then, but I was going
But you were on your way to the insurance company to get insurance that day. Is that what you're saying?
Your Honor, may I add something?
The next day I was going, and that's when everything happened.
Right.
Coming up on Judge Faith, someone's cruising for a bruising.
When he hit me and I asked him for his ID and proof of insurance, he did refuse to give it to me.
Did you do that, Mr. Pitts?
No.
You don't sound very convincing with that no.
And later, things heat up.
She wanted a ride, and then all of a sudden she didn't call me to tell me she had a ride to get her car. Her car was already there.
Plaintiff Jeff Moss is suing for injuries and damages to his bicycle after a violent collision with the defendant's car. Defendant Emmanuel Pitts claims that the plaintiff was at fault and is countersuing for damages to his car.
How long were you without car insurance on your car, sir?
2 days.
Just a 2-day lapse?
Yeah.
Just a brief oversight?
Yeah.
Okay. It's 2 days too many, Mr. Pitts. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why do you think you're not responsible to pay for the damage
Because
onto his bicycle?
When I got in the car and I looked, and I turned it on, then I looked again, was nobody coming, and then I proceeded.
Well, it was someone coming, you just didn't see him.
Well,
Because he hit your car in a matter of seconds, right?
yes.
Okay, so he was there.
Yeah. Yes.
And the police responded, they found you to be at fault, so why don't you think you owe money for damages?
Because he wasn't, to me, he wasn't hurt. He wasn't, nothing wasn't wrong with him. He hit my car, boom, he got up. I asked him, was he all right? He said, yes.
Are you a medical expert, sir?
No.
Okay. You don't think you owe for damages because you couldn't see the damages with your physical eye? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Your Honor, I would also like to add that when he hit me and I asked him for his ID and proof of insurance, he did refuse to give it to me. Then he disclosed to me he wasn't insured. When the police came, he actually showed the police officer a valid insurance certificate. And after the police left...
Did you do that, Mr. Pitts?
No.
You don't sound very convincing with that no.
Yeah, no.
I have
Okay.
a copy of it, Your Honor.
Oh, you have a copy of his insurance card?
Yes.
How did he get a copy of your insurance card?
Then I gave it to him because the police told me I have to give it to him, so I gave it to him.
But you knew you didn't have insurance.
Yes.
And so you gave him an insurance card, basically
Yes.
inferring that you had insurance coverage when you knew
Yes.
you didn't?
Yes.
It's not going very well for you, Mr. Pitts, today. Just letting you know. All right,
And
go
I
ahead.
asked him for why he lied to the police officer, and he said, well, I didn't want the police to tow my car.
All right. Do you have insurance now on your car, sir?
Yes.
All right. Make sure you keep your car insured. You're countersuing for $465 to damages to your car. Why should I award you any damages when you're driving around uninsured?
Well, I have insurance on my car now.
But that day, back then...
But that day I didn't have it.
Right.
Because I was changed it to another insurance company.
I understand you were between insurance companies. I
Yeah.
got it. Okay. Do you have photos of your injury, sir? How were you injured?
At the time, I thought I broke my ribs.
Is this mark on your face from this bike
No.
accident? You had another accident
That's just my
since
good
then?
looks.
What?
That's just my good looks.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right.
So the injuries that I had, my shoulders and ribs were hurt, but the main injury I have is I have a cracked bone in my knee, and I'm going to need to have surgery.
Okay.
I do have health insurance, and it is covering all of the injury portion of the accident.
Okay.
Actually, my auto insurance covers the injury portion of my accident.
And the auto insurance didn't cover the bicycle?
Because it's considered property. If
All right.
I was driving a car, it would have been covered, but it excludes motorcycles, ATVs, bicycles, things like that.
Okay, let me see a photo of your injuries. What are we looking at here?
My left shoulder and my ribs.
Okay.
You mainly see it on my arm, the bruising there.
Okay, next photo. Ouch, that looks like it hurt.
Yeah, that's my arm.
Were you on crutches?
Yeah, I was on crutches for 6 weeks.
Was surgery averted?
No, I'm gonna need to have surgery.
What kind of surgery?
Arthroscopic surgery on my knee.
Wow, so this is a pretty serious accident.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I've heard enough. Mr. Pitts, your counterclaim is dismissed, sir. You perhaps had some damage to your car, but I generally don't award damages to people who are in accidents and don't have insurance. Okay?
Okay.
You were driving your car illegally without insurance, and I know you say you were between insurance companies, but I'm happy to hear that you have insurance today, but your counterclaim is dismissed. Two parts to this case. There's liability and there's damages. The police responded. They found you to be liable for the accident, sir, and I credit what I see on the report and the plaintiff's testimony. I do find you to be at fault for this accident and to be responsible. And then there is the issue of damages. The plaintiff fortunately has health insurance, and they are going to cover his out-of-pocket expenses if indeed he has to have surgery. But I am going to order you, sir, to pay him to replace his bicycle. As you know, the statutory maximum in my court is $5,000.
I do, Your Honor.
So I'm going to order you to pay, based on the proof that he has submitted, I find the proof to be sufficient. It's actually probably going to cost him more than $5,000 to replace the bike. So I'm going to order you to pay $5,000. Verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck.
Plaintiff Colleen Clarkin says that her former roommate's car caught fire in her driveway, causing major damage to the house. She is suing for $10,000 in fees and damages. Defendant Lindsay Pojar says that she owes nothing because she was doing the plaintiff a favor at the time of the accident.
Colleen Clarkin, you are suing the defendant, Lindsay Pojar, for $10,000, $5,000 for a home insurance deductible, and $5,000 for fire damages to your home. And you understand that the maximum award in this court is $5,000?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so why don't you tell me what happened? How do you know the defendant, and how did she cause fire damage to your home?
I met her in 2010 at a mutual friend's house, and then I met her again in 2011. And she was in an abusive relationship with someone, and
Can you speak up for me?
I offered for her to move to my house, and it took her till November of 2011 to come to my house with two black eyes.
But
and
that has nothing to do with this.
But that's how our friendship was.
So you offered her your home to move into?
Yeah,
And how
to
long
get her
did you
away
know
from
her? How long did you know her prior to that?
Since 2010 in November.
Okay, did she move in as a tenant or more so as a roommate? Was she paying rent to live
She
there?
paid $200 a month, and she rented the room up next to my room and the washer and dryer.
Okay, do you want to respond to anything she just said?
I did move in, and yes, she did get me out of an abusive relationship, and I thank her for that, but that has nothing to do with this or the damages.
Okay, but the two of you were friends at that time?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
and so what happened after that? How long did you live in her townhome?
Maybe a year, year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Okay, and what happened?
On May 8th, which was Mother's Day of 2011, I called and asked her if she would come and give me a ride to go get my car. And she didn't really give me an answer, yes or no. And before she came to my house, my son had driven, and I drove him back to his dad's, and my car was in my garage. And then all of a sudden, I heard her open the door. 'Cause
So
had
she
a
wasn't
key.
living there at the time?
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
But she was really never there. But she did come that day that I had called her, and she said, "Are you ready?" And I said, "You know what? I got my car back. It's in the garage, Lindsay, and I'm not going to go anywhere." She went into the kitchen, got some grapes, and went to walk out and started jumping up and down. "Colleen, call 911. My car's on fire." And I was like, "What?" And I walked down there, and there were flames coming, and we could hear the fire trucks coming.
So it was a huge
but-
fire?
Well, look, we couldn't walk out the front door.
Wow.
Coming up on Judge Faith. Judge Faith sees some compelling evidence.
Okay, what are we looking at here?
That is my garage. The inside, the insulation all melted.
Wow.
Plaintiff Colleen Clarkin is suing her former roommate for damages to her house. Defendant Lindsay Pojar says she's not responsible. She was just doing the plaintiff a favor at the time.
Ma'am, how did your car catch on fire?
I'm not sure. But the reason why I went back to the house because she was calling me and bugging me because her son had her car at prom at the hotel. And she wanted to get her car back from her son. So that's,
Okay.
I was going there to give her a ride.
Well, I
to get my
understand
car,
that, but,
to get her car.
your car caught on fire while you were there, so I'm asking
Yes.
you how that happened.
I don't know.
Okay, was it ever investigated? Did the fire department respond?
I don't believe so. The fire department responded, but I don't know if they investigated it.
You said you suffered property damage as a result of that. What happened?
There was a big hole. There's pictures I have of the
Okay, let's see them.
Damage.
Did you have insurance on the car?
I had a card saying I had insurance, but
That's not
you pay
what
for
I asked
6
you, ma'am. Did you have insurance on the car?
My dad had just canceled it.
Okay, and why would your dad be handling your insurance?
Because it was under him.
coverage? Okay. Okay, what are we looking at here?
That is my garage. The inside, the insulation all melted.
Oh, okay, so
in the
this is
fire
from the
truck.
inside out?
Yep.
Was this taken the day of the incident or the next day?
Same day.
Okay.
They put the fire out.
Wow, that's the engine to your car?
Yes.
Completely burned?
Yes.
So was this an explosion or what?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
There was no smoke driving to her house, and the only reason why I went to the house because she wanted a ride to get her
That's
car.
irrelevant.
And normally I don't even park up towards the garage.
You always parked on the street.
No, I always park towards the back of the
Well,
driveway.
on this day, you parked near the garage.
Because I was running in to tell her I was here to give her a ride.
Okay, ma'am, and again, it has no relevance why you were at her home. The fact is you were there and your car caught on fire and her home suffered damage as a result, okay?
Right.
So we're past that now. What is this a photo of?
My car's hood.
Okay, what's the next photo? Ma'am, is this the front of your garage?
Yes.
Okay, so what was the damage to your home?
It was over $8,000.
Your Honor, I don't know how it can be $8,000. As you can see, none of the rock is damaged.
Ma'am, are you an expert on garage door damages?
No,
when
but
they
she didn't
suffer
need
from fire
she didn't need a
damage?
new garage door, Your Honor.
Okay,
They
do you
did
have any
replace the whole-
independent evidence to support what you're saying? That
I
her
do have
statement for damages
I
is
have a
inaccurate?
driveway estimate.
That's not what I asked you. Ma'am, may I see your estimate for damages?
I've got what they estimated. They fixed it within 30 days, and it was $8,438.
Did you have insurance to cover this?
I had homeowners, and my homeowners did give me $1,000, but it cost over $4,000. It was $4,786 just for the garage door that I didn't think they were going to replace. They were only talking about the insulation, but once they seen the damage, they replaced the whole garage door, and that cost $4,786.
Coming up, Judge Faith rules. And now, Judge Faith rules.
Okay, so I see here replacement cost value for the garage door, $4,784.76, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so...
And I only got $1,000.
You got $1,000 in insurance coverage.
Right.
So the rest of that had to be paid out of pocket.
Yep.
Okay, and you had no insurance to cover any of this, correct? No. So what is your defense as to why you don't owe her for her out-of-pocket expenses for the garage door?
I was doing
the
her
fact that you came over because she called you?
She wanted a ride. And then all of a sudden, she didn't call me to tell me she had a ride to get her car. Her car was already there. I
Right,
wouldn't have
okay,
even have been
doing
there
a
at the time.
favor for someone because you show up at someone's house to do them a favor.
My house, too.
Is
I live
not
there.
a defense. Your house, her house. You live there. You drove there like you do every day because you lived in the home. You parked your car in the driveway. And listen, I'm not saying you intentionally blew up your car to damage her home. It was an accident. Accidents happen.
Yes.
But understand that when accidents happen, sometimes we have to take responsibility for the damage caused to someone else's property when accidents happen. That's it.
Yes.
And unfortunately, for whatever reason, you didn't have insurance because your father canceled your insurance policy on your car. You are responsible for the damage that your car caused to the townhome. You have not given me a reason today that would justify you not paying for her out-of-pocket expenses. I'm ruling. We're finished. And so my judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,784.76. That is the value of the replacement for the garage door minus the $1,000 you got in the deductible. Judgment for the plaintiff.
This homeowner's irate about a soggy basement repair.
Water everywhere.
That's a pretty significant amount of water.
So Thomas said, I can do it, and I'd really appreciate the work.
But the contractor says her slab has deeper issues.
The problem that we ran into on this project is she has no gravel under her whole slab.
You're the problem solver. If you can't solve the problem, you can't accept the job.
And later, a tenant finds he was kicked to the curb.
All my stuff was in the garbage bags. The story that he tells right now, it's kind of imaginary story.
You have no right nor authority to go into his room and touch his things.
Plaintiff Julie Mouche says she hired the defendant to fix flooding in her basement, but the work downstairs let her down. She's suing for $3,481 for a refund. Defendant Thomas Zerkler says he warned the plaintiff of her basement dilemma and says her foundation is to blame.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Mouche versus Zerba.
Julie Mouche?
Yes.
You were suing the defendant Thomas Zerkler for $3,481, a refund for defective work you say he did in your home?
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
Why don't we start with you and tell me what's going on here?
Well, I met Thomas when I called him to finish up some odd jobs that I had on a total remodel of my home.
Mm-hmm.
And
you live in Minnesota?
Yeah, Minnesota.
Okay.
And he was a contractor in Ohio, and he was just bringing his practice here. From day one when I bought the house 2 years prior, I had water in my basement the first night I was there. I wanted to finish all of the upstairs and the kitchen and all the rest of the remodeling. Then I was going to address the water problem.
Okay, and what was the problem? Was it the basement would flood when it rained? I mean, you live in Minnesota, you get a lot of snow, melts, you get water.
Yeah. So I called somebody in and they said, you know, you should put in drain tile. So Thomas said, are you having tile put in? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I've done those throughout my whole career, and I can do it, and you know, I'd really appreciate the work. So I said, yeah, he could do it, but a couple things had been kind of going on with Thomas.
Well, let me ask you, Mr. Zerkler.
Yes, ma'am.
So you moved from Ohio to
Yes,
Minnesota? When?
I moved here about 1.5 years ago.
Okay, and
Just before I met Julie, actually.
And what type of work were you doing in Ohio?
I've been in business for 29 years doing remodels.
What exactly were you hired to do in the basement to prevent future flooding?
There was several different problems. Basically cut out around the perimeter of the interior of the basement and the rooms that were going to be finished. Also put a drain pit in, put a sump pump in, and run electric line and then pump it outside. A typical sump pump system.
So the water would drain and then the pump would pump the water out.
And if you don't have certain elements, which she didn't have in her house, which we don't know until we open it up. The problem that we ran into on this project is, and she was alerted at the very first day when we opened up concrete, she has no gravel under her whole slab. This is a 75-year-old home, and whoever did the basement poured a concrete slab right on the soil.
And that's a problem when you're trying to put in a system like you are.
Properly.
Did the two of you enter into a written agreement with the terms of the proposal?
Yeah.
May I see that, please? And you paid the full price for this, ma'am? Which was $34.80, the total price. Okay, so go ahead. So you go in, you go into the concrete, and you see that there's no gravel.
Yeah, at that point.
And that's a problem.
I called her and mentioned to her, I said, you know, the system won't work well. You need some gravel, number one, under the slab. Number two, you'll need an exterior
So let me just stop
drain.
with the gravel, because I see that that's actually specifically addressed in the contract.
Exactly.
And you have here, you drafted this contract?
Yes, I did.
Okay. This proposal is based on that the existing foundation has proper gravel under the existing slab.
Which there is none.
In the event that there is not enough gravel, there will be an extra charge for this installation and materials. The key here is someone scratched out that in the event that there's not enough extra gravel, there will be an extra charge for installation and materials. Who did that?
I did.
See, I don't have that on my contract at all.
That you just probably printed out. That was done at my house.
No, this is the one you signed, actually. This is a signed paper from you.
May I see that, please?
Yes, ma'am. That's the one you signed.
I had been getting bills from Thomas, and each time I got
no,
it.
let me ask you. I
Okay.
want to find out about this line that's scratched out because I need to know what that means. Would you show that to the defendant, please? I want to know who drew the line through that.
I never wrote that, and I'm not aware of that.
Oh, this your
whatsoever.
first time seeing
Yes.
that? Okay, may I see that, please?
Okay, can I address
Yes.
that? Okay, that's not true. So when he said he wanted to do the work, he had been little by little adding things at the end after these little jobs. And so I said, Thomas, if you do this drain tile, I have to know that this is the price you're gonna charge me, and there's not gonna be any extra charges at the end, because he had been kind of doing that. And then he reluctantly said, okay, and you see how he signed it there. I made him sign it because I wanted it in writing.
Okay, so that's why you scratched out, if there's not enough gravel, there will not be an extra charge for the installation. And is this why, I mean, a problem
That's
is...
not the understanding I had, no.
Well, okay, but you didn't purchase gravel to
Yes,
do
I
this
did.
project.
I ended up buying a lot of gravel, which she was never charged for.
Okay, but the real issue is what happened several months later.
Yes.
What happens?
We had a bunch of rain. I went down to my basement. I had water everywhere.
How much water?
Well, you can see by the pictures.
May I see
Probably
let me look at the
about
photos.
this much in every part
You
of
can
the
bring me those
and
photos,
and to the extent that I even have pictures where the sump pump is covered with water all around it, but the pump itself that's supposed to collect the water and the tubes are totally dry. So
may I see the photos on the flat screen, please? Oh, that's your home?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the exterior. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, see? Water everywhere.
Was it a rainstorm?
We had rain.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a pretty significant amount of water.
Coming up, why did this contractor take on a project he knew would fail?
It says there will be no further water in the basement. Why would you agree to that when you're in court telling me now that you knew the water problem probably wouldn't be solved?
And later, Judge Faith sets the record straight.
So yes or no, did you take him to court to get him to pay
I
for
took him to court. I took him to court because he started to argue with me.
So the
and
answer
he
is yes, you took him to court.
Plaintiff Julie Mouche is suing for defective repair work done to her basement. Defendant Thomas Zerkler claims the job was done properly, and he doesn't owe.
You're the expert, you're the problem solver here, right? She's the homeowner, but you're the problem solver when it comes to fixing the problem. My question to you is, did you take this job and do the job knowing that the problem really wouldn't be solved?
I knew it wouldn't be solved 100%, no.
And so why then do you write on the contract, at the bottom of this contract, it is a handwritten note, and it says the price is guaranteed, there will be no further water in the basement. I am asking you, why would you agree to that when you're in court telling me now that you knew it was probably the water problem probably wouldn't be solved?
Yeah.
I want to see proof that you hired a new contractor and paid a new contractor to correct work that Mr. Zerkler did, because that's really the best way to prove a case like this. So you call him in April 2014. When do you hire these people?
They came, I think in May, mid-May.
May 12, 2014.
Yeah, and then they couldn't do it until July.
And you paid them a total of how much?
I think it's on there, $6,000.
$6,200. And do you have proof of payment? Yes, you do. Here's a receipt. This company solved the problem.
It's also 3 times the price.
Well, if you can't solve the problem, you can't accept the job, then don't do the job. Because that's what she wants. The bottom line is she needs the problem solved. I don't see any other way around this. I mean, with this kind of evidence, and I'm not saying that you're a bad contractor. You've been in the business a number of years. I just think for this price and for what she wanted, you needed more gravel, you knew that. You knew that there were going to be issues from the very beginning, and so as the expert, you have to stand firm and say, I cannot do this job for this price. And sometimes you have to walk away from projects where you know you cannot do them for the price that a person is willing to pay. So I have no choice in this case. Judgment for the plaintiff, $3,480. Good luck.
Thank you.
Plaintiff Eric Politov says he was the subject of an illegal eviction. He's suing for $5,418 in stolen and damaged property. Defendant Eugene Tengizbov says his sublet unit gave the plaintiff a huge price break. He's countersuing for $1,295 for personal items.
Mr. Politov, you say your former friend stole and damaged your property, so you're suing him for $5,418. Mr. Tengizbov, you say you didn't touch the plaintiff's things, so you don't owe any money. You say the plaintiff has your things, so you're countersuing for $1,295. Mr. Politov, what's your relationship with the defendant?
I met this person February 2011 on QA classes, basically computer classes.
Okay.
At that point, I was on moving situation, like from one place I had to move to a different place. And he told me like he had a really great deal for me, which was like he said, $250 for the room, sharing with him. It's from San Francisco, it's a great deal. And I was like, oh, that's great, yes, of course.
So $250 to sublet a room in his apartment?
Yes.
Okay.
When I moved in, he changed the price to $350. I was fine. For San Francisco, it's still free, cheap, free, whatever.
Do you have the agreement with you?
Yes.
Let me take a look at it.
Here you go.
Just give it to Barbara. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, so you agreed to pay $350 a month, and you also put down a $350 deposit on March 1st, 2011.
Right.
Okay. At some point, the defendant comes to you and he doesn't think you're paying enough for the sublet, and he asks you to pay more than $350, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
After 4 months, when our contract is over, he came to me and said, its actual price of this room is $405. I was fine again, San Francisco, cheap, free.
Did you agree to the price increase in rent?
You know, I was fine. I didn't want to act like a cheap person, like San Francisco, 405. It's totally fine. Yeah.
Well, you ended up taking him to court, right? Because you wanted a price increase.
I mean, the story that the plaintiff tells right now, it's kind of imaginary story. So basically, yes, the room was $460, and when he asked me to help him with the rent, I told him, okay, Eric, I have a room for $460, which is cheap for San Francisco, and if you want to move in.
After you moved out, then he stayed there, and he was still subletting one bedroom. Did anyone else move in? Did he have roommates?
Basically, yes, he did have roommates, but I didn't stay there. I stayed with my wife for around 1 year already. So I just kept the room for myself if, something happens, like, because...
Well, you were only married for a year. What were you planning on happening?
No. I like that place because it was close to ocean, and it's like residential.
Right.
And I had the room there, and room was for $460. It was a proportional share. That's how they qualify the price of the.
Right. It's a proportional share of what the total rent for the apartment is.
With a total, yes.
Okay. And what was the total rent for the apartment?
At that point, it was $1,800 when the issue came out.
Okay, but my question is, he didn't agree to pay the proportional share. What you thought was a proportional share, he didn't agree to pay that initially.
No,
you had to take him to court, right?
That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
You end up taking him to court because he doesn't want to.
No, I didn't want to take him to court.
I have the document here where you went to court. You went to court. You took him to court because you didn't think he was paying his proportional share.
That's not what happened.
Oh, you don't know I have this document in evidence? Is that what it is?
I do.
Because I have the document.
I do have it.
So yes or no, did you take him to court to get him to pay the proportional share of the rent?
I took him to court because he started to argue with me.
So the answer is yes, you took him to court because he wasn't paying the proportional share of the rent. I have the ruling from court. They ordered that he pay $460.
Exception is when it happened. I didn't take him to court.
You're not answering my. I don't know why you don't want to talk about taking him to court when I know you did.
I took him to court.
Okay, thank you.
I took him to court.
I only had to ask you 5 times.
Coming up, how did this tenant's belongings end up outside?
Who took his things out of his room and put them out by the dumpster?
I guess the guy's in the fantasy world again.
Plaintiff Eric Politov says he was illegally evicted. He's suing for stolen and damaged property. Defendant Eugene Tengisbov claims his tenant didn't pay full price and is countersuing for personal items.
I took him to court to make sure that he understands that the proportional share of the room is $460, and I'm paying my money from my own pocket for him, which is the part of his rent.
Okay, when the judge issued the ruling on the proportional share of the rent, that was May 2012, and then June 1st, something happens, which is what this lawsuit is about. I want you to tell me about what happened on June 1st.
All my stuff was on the floor and the garbage bags outside of my room, outside of our apartments.
Okay, what happened?
Then when I saw that, I was in shock, and he was like pushing me.
Oh, so he was there?
He came down, and he pushed me. He was like, "Take your stuff. You're not living here anymore." I said, like, "Take out from your hand from me."
So what was that about? Why are you saying that happened on that day? What happened prior to that? Was it the court decision, the court ruling? What was that about?
He's doing illegally.
Okay, hold on one second. Did you take his things out of his room?
No.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
Oh, so who took his things out of his room and put them out by the dumpster?
I guess the guy is in the fantasy world again. So basically, when it happened, when the court ruled that, okay, Eric, now you have to pay $460.
Were you there at the apartment on June 1st?
On June 1st, I was there. I don't remember exactly what the day was.
Well, do you remember that the police were called?
Yeah.
Do you remember speaking to the police?
No, yeah, I called the police. Why?
And do you remember the
police
police officer talking to you about doing an illegal eviction?
Well, he said that it's illegal eviction.
Do you have a police report from that day?
I have police report, I have a CAT report, and I also have a whole building witnesses. And
hold on one second, let me take a look at this.
Yeah, he's going to jail probably.
So here is the problem. The police responded and they said they spoke to you on June 1st.
Okay.
You had a conversation with the police officers and they specifically talked to you and they documented in this report that you tried to physically move his things, that you physically moved his things out of his what because you'd given him 30 days notice in April and he had not moved out yet.
So
that is an illegal eviction. Let me just explain something to you. Under the law in your state, you can't touch his things. You have no right to go into his room and touch his things. I know you deny doing it, but I don't believe you because I hear what he's saying and I'm looking at the police report, the police officers who responded that day and spoke to you. You have no right nor authority to go into his room and touch his things. None. If you want to evict someone, you follow through with the process.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
I do believe he went into your room and took your things out. He'd already gone to the rent board, wanted to increase rent. In April of 2012, he gave you a letter with a 30-day notice to vacate. And 30 days later, a little more than 30 days later, all of a sudden, your things are magically out of your room by the dumpster. But he wants me to believe he had absolutely nothing to do with that when you spoke to the police on June 1st and they told you that it was an unlawful eviction.
When I spoke to the
don't want to hear
police-
it. We're done. So my judgment in this case is for the plaintiff. Your counterclaim, you get 0. My judgment in this case is for the plaintiff. Verdict, $500. Have a good day.
You guys, you're both dismissed. Thank you.
This ex-roommate says he should have checked himself before paying in cash.
Initially, John had told us that he just sent cash through the mail and it must have gotten intercepted.
I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. I didn't know at the time. I was kind of stupid.
Okay, and do you do all your transactions in cash?
Generally, yes.
There are only 3 types of people that deal in all cash. Drug dealers, pimps, and strippers. Now, if you want to tell me you're one of the 3?
And later, Judge Faith breaks down a wall brick by brick.
It looked like they'd been unearthed from someone else's yard or from a salvage yard. Okay. One look, I said, you're not putting this stuff in my yard.
But let me ask you a question. What bricks are in her yard? I'm trying to understand.
Plaintiffs Jacob Sachs and Robert Hennon are suing their former roommate for unpaid rent, utilities, and damage to their vehicle. Defendant Jonathan Hill says he paid the defendants in cash for the back rent, and now he owes them nothing.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Sachs-Hennon versus Hill.
Thank you, Barbara. Jacob Sachs
Yes.
and Robert Hennon.
Yes.
You are suing the defendant Jonathan Hill for $4,768. You say he owes you for unpaid rent and utilities and damage to your car, Mr. Sachs?
Yes.
Okay, and you don't have a countersuit, right?
I do not.
Okay. Why don't you tell me what's going on? How do you know the defendant?
We lived with him for slightly over a year, almost a year and a half, and we eventually had to have him removed from the lease due to non-payment issues.
Okay, and it was the three of you on the lease?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
do you have a copy of the lease?
I do.
May I see it? What was the agreed upon arrangement for the rent?
The rent was to be split evenly 3 ways, making a total of $995 a month, which is roughly $332 per person per month.
Okay, and what month and year did the lease start?
October 2012.
So when did the problems first start happening?
I think it was about February that we started receiving notices in the mail that we had past rent due, and me and Jake didn't understand that because both of us had been paying our rent.
Okay.
And initially, John had told us that he just sent cash through the mail and it must have gotten intercepted.
Okay.
So then we told him not to do that again, and then he did that 2 more times, or so he says. And that's when we started to get concerned that he might be intentionally not paying rents and telling us that he was paying rents.
Okay, so what was going on with you?
Nothing. You know, I sent money through the mail the first time. I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. I didn't know at the time. I was kind of stupid. But after they told me to stop, I actually started paying Robert to pay my rent for me. I didn't have a bank account, so I was having him...
Hold on a second. So you're saying that you were sending your money the first time you sent cash in the mail
Yes,
to the landlord to pay your rent,
that is correct.
and he did not get the cash?
That is correct.
Okay, and you don't know why he didn't get the money?
No,
It's not because you didn't send it?
that is correct.
Okay, go ahead.
After that, I started paying Robert in cash to make checks out for me to pay the landlord. If he was failing to pay the landlord from the checks that he was writing, or if he was just writing the check in front of me and then tearing it up after I left his room, I don't know.
So according to you, you owe no back rent at all?
I owe 0.
Okay, do you have any evidence that he was not paying rent?
Yeah, I mean, I have a ledger from our landlord that shows all of us paying rent, and his name is just missed on many, 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 many months.
Barbara, would you hand me the evidence, please? And
This
the
was-
ledger as well?
Is
The
that
letter
only
was-
page of it?
Yeah, it's front and back.
Okay, so what I'm looking at now is a letter addressed to you, Mr. Hill, from the landlord. Do you recall getting a letter from the landlord that you owed $1,344 in rent?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what did you do when you received this letter?
I got $1,500 in cash together and I handed it to Robert.
That is not true.
Did he give you $1,500 in
No,
cash?
he did not. I've
Okay,
been
do you
waiting
have
for
proof
him
that
to
you
give
gave
me
him
some.
cash?
I do
Because
not.
I have proof that you owe $1,500 in back rent. And so when you come into court and you tell me, oh, I paid it all in cash, Judge, I paid it all in cash, as a way to sort of circumvent the fact that I'm going to ask you, do you have proof of it? You're going to say no, because I have cash. That's a little convenient.
It does seem a little convenient. However, I trusted in their friendship. We were friends at the time. I didn't
So you
think that
took
he was going to screw me over.
$1,500 in cash. You
Pardon?
took $1,500 in cash
Yes,
and
ma'am.
gave it to him after you received this letter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you told me before that you missed August, September, and October. When did you pay that money back?
As soon as I was able to. I believe that was in either late October or early November.
And you paid that back in cash, according to you?
Yes.
And who did you give that to?
I gave it to Robert.
Okay, and do you do all your transactions in cash?
Generally, yes.
And where do you get the money from? You have a bank account?
No, ma'am.
Okay. How is it possible then that if you paid them back rent for August, September, and October, why is it that in February just a few months later, you owe another $1,400 in back rent?
I don't know.
So you don't know why you owe back rent, but you just shell out $1,400 in cash to him to give to the landlord?
Like I said, I trusted them. They were my friends. Now they're just slugs after my money.
I want you to answer the question that I'm asking. You say you don't know why you owe $1,400 in back rent, but you went and got $1,400 in cash and you gave it to him to pay the landlord.
That is
Why
correct.
would you do that if you don't know that you owe back rent?
Like I said, maybe I trust too easily.
Because you're not telling me the truth, sir. You're not telling me the truth, and your lies are starting to catch up with you. Just so you know, in your answer to why you don't owe for back rent, you never said that you paid. You said that when you moved out, they agreed to forgive your debt, just so you know, okay? Yeah. That's what you said in your answer. I know it's hard for you to keep it straight, but because let me tell you, when you tell the truth, you don't have to think about what you're going to say all the time. When you just tell the truth, okay? How long did Mr. Hill live in the apartment without paying rent? Number of months?
I would estimate it to be at least 9.
Was he evicted or did he leave voluntarily?
It became apparent that he was not paying rent, nor was he able to pay rent, nor did he show any intent to begin paying rent again. So we requested that our landlord have him removed from the lease.
These men are here to paint me as a villain, as a deadbeat, and as a person who can't handle his own self.
Okay.
Look at him. He looks like
I'm gonna tell you right now. Stop pointing. There are only three people. There are only 3 types of people that deal in all cash: drug dealers, pimps, and strippers. Now, if you want to tell me you're one of the 3, we can have a conversation. But if not, you're not telling me the truth.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I could not hear you.
Oh, you heard me.
Coming up on Judge Faith, the defendant has trouble steering the truth.
What happened?
Nothing.
Okay.
Maybe that day someone came along and said, "Oh, this is a nice car in a crappy neighborhood. I'm gonna mess it up."
Why?
That's what they did.
Why would that be a thought process?
That's what they did.
I'm gonna go back to your answer again because I think you're having memory problems again.
And later,
she called Home Depot
When
and
you
stopped
say-
me and made me come back and take the rocks back to Home
Okay,
Depot.
so you didn't believe that the bricks came from Home Depot?
The brick was not packaged correctly. They do not send them out loose like that, and they definitely don't sell dirty old bricks like that.
plaintiffs Jacob Sachs and Robert Hennon are suing their former roommate for unpaid rent, utilities, and damage to their car. Defendant Jonathan Hill claims he's all paid up on rent and has nothing to do with the damage to the car.
What else are you suing for?
Damage to my vehicle, yes.
Tell me about that.
I got a phone call from John asking if he could move my car so he could park in the garage again.
Were you guys friends at this point, or you're not speaking very much?
No, I was on speaking positive terms with the defendant.
Okay.
I just wasn't.
You weren't?
No.
Because you
not
were
at all.
just fed up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not just that. It's just he was very condescending to us the entire time, just walking around like he owned the place when he was the only one not paying rent.
Mm-hmm.
It was really frustrating to live with.
Right. Somehow I get the impression that's probably true. Go ahead. So what happens? You get back to
Yeah.
Minnesota. What do you see? What happens?
Yeah, I went out to my car to go somewhere and noticed that there was this huge scrape from the passenger door back across the rear passenger door and even onto the rear quarter panel.
Your car was not like that prior to you leaving Minnesota to take your trip to California?
I know for a fact that there was no damage on that side
Okay, let me
of
see the
car.
photos you submitted to court. Is that the scratch on the side?
Yeah, and you can see both of the missing trim panels down there, too.
Okay, what happened?
Nothing.
Okay.
I put it in the garage when he moved it out. Maybe that day someone came along and said, "Oh, this is a nice car in a crappy neighborhood. I'm gonna mess it up."
Why?
That's what they did.
Why would that be a thought process?
That's what they did.
All right, Mr. Hill, did you move the car from the garage to the street?
No.
So you never called and asked him to move his car from the garage to the street?
No.
That never happened?
I moved it from the parking place where it was into the garage. I did not move it from the garage into the street.
I parked it in the garage. Who moved it out of the garage?
Not me.
In your answer, I'm going to go back to your answer again because I think you're having memory problems again. So I'm going to go back to your answer because in your answer, what you told the court and what you wrote is that If he didn't want to take a chance of having your car damaged, then he should not have told you to move it to the street. You understand? From the garage to the street. That's what you said in your answer. And in court here today, you're saying you moved it from the street to the garage. So, sir, what I'm telling you is you either have a really, really bad memory or you're just a little liar. Show me proof of the damages to your car. Do you have proof of damages to your car?
I do have photocopies of the quote I received from the body shop.
Have you had the work done?
No, I have not. I cannot afford it currently.
Just really need this money because I'm trying to move out of my house and I can't until this man's debt is removed from
your responsibility.
My responsibility.
Okay, after reviewing all of the evidence in this case, I find that you do owe $2,474 in back rent, and I'm ordering you to pay that to the plaintiffs. In addition, I'm ordering you to pay $1,937 for car damages. You have zero credibility, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to stop lying so much. When you come to court and you take an oath to tell the truth, you need to start telling the truth. You don't even remember your lie from last week when you submitted your answer to this case. Judgment for the plaintiffs, $4,411. Good luck.
Plaintiff Vicky Wright says her contractor is trying to scam her. She's suing for the return of her deposit in the amount of $620. Defendant Kenneth Heath claims the plaintiff breached the contract and he owes her nothing. He's countersuing for $3,000 in emotional damage.
Vicky Wright?
Yes.
You were suing the defendant Kenneth Heath for $620, the return of a deposit for work you hired him to do in your home?
That's correct.
And you were countersuing, sir, for $3,000 for emotional damage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Wright, we would start with you. I understand that you hired Mr. Heath. You were looking for someone to build a retainer wall.
That's correct,
in your
Your Honor.
home. But let me ask you, Mr. Heath, is that what you do for a living? Are you a contractor by trade?
Yes.
And so, what do you use to build a retaining wall? Is it brick?
It's brick, Your Honor.
Okay.
Cement
May I see a
brick.
photo of your? I understand you submitted photos of your home. Let me take a look at that.
Okay.
What is this a photo of?
That's the photo of the retaining wall that needs to be done.
Okay, got it. And that's concrete, so you were going to use brick, sir, to build a retaining wall?
Right, interlocking blocks.
Okay, got it. So what was the estimate he gave you, ma'am? Did you guys enter into a written agreement?
Yes, we did.
May I see that?
Yes.
And how much did you pay him?
In the contract, it stated that he wanted half the money up front. I did pay him $620 on August the 14th.
So the total for the contract was $1,236?
Yes, it is.
And she paid you half, correct?
She gave me $620.
Okay, got it. Did you ever start the project?
No.
But she fired you before you ever started,
I
right?
hauled one load of interlocking blocks there, and I was going back to the hardware store to get the other blocks. And she called and she had told me to come back and pick the blocks up. She didn't want me to do the job no more. She said the blocks look like they cost 99 cents. I said, ma'am, you got the call slip in your hand. They cost $4.15 a piece.
Where'd you buy them from?
Home Depot.
Tell me what you thought when you saw the bricks, because that was one of the issues. Tell me what you thought when you saw them.
They were really small brick. They were black in color. They don't sell dirty old bricks like that, and some of them were broken. They were loose, sitting in my driveway. It looked like they'd been unearthed from someone else's yard or from a salvage yard. Okay. Got on my cell phone and called him and said, you're not putting this stuff in my yard.
Well, let me ask you a question. What bricks are in her yard? I'm trying to understand.
The brick, I bought one load. It was two loads because it was too heavy for the trailer.
Okay.
Okay, so I brought one load of blocks there.
Okay, and you submitted a photo of how they should look.
Yeah.
Let me see that. Okay, this is what the pallets normally look like from Home Depot?
Yes.
Is that correct, sir?
Yeah.
And is this what the pallet that you delivered looked like?
Huh?
Coming up, Judge Faith makes bad business her business.
My business is to try to do the right thing.
And what's the right thing? You just kept that half of the money. That's the right thing. Don't try to scam people.
Plaintiff Vicky Wright says the deposit she gave the defendant was not used to purchase the correct building materials. Defendant Kenneth Heath claims that the plaintiff canceled the order before he could deliver. He's countersuing for emotional damage.
If she purchased the bricks and you never started the job, Why didn't you refund her half of the money that she paid you?
Why did I do that? Because really, my business is to try to do the right thing.
And what's the right thing? You just kept that half of the money. That's the right thing
I
for
should
you.
have just kept it all, really.
Okay, why is that, sir? If you didn't start the job.
Because it's a breach of contract. She shouldn't have just let. She shouldn't have. If she was going to have a problem, she should have at least let me start the job.
May I see the receipts you wanted me to look at?
Yes. And the brick was loose when it came to my house, and it was dirty, and they do not sell those kind of bricks.
You brought the bricks on Saturday?
I paid for them on Saturday. I brought them there on Sunday.
Okay, perfect.
I called him and said, you are not putting this dirty old stuff in my yard.
And you admit that
I paid for new.
Hold on a second. And you took the bricks and delivered them on Sunday, the 17th, right, to her house?
Yeah.
Got it. Go ahead.
When he left my house, he took the receipt and said he was going to go get his money back and take that dirty old brick back. And I said, I don't think they're going to take that back. They didn't sell it to you.
Do you have another statement from Home Depot that shows when the bricks were returned?
Yes, it's in there. It's
Barbara,
kind of
hand that to
small
her.
print. But
Please pull that document out and show it to me.
here it is. Shows purchase and return.
Okay. My question is this. The bricks were purchased on Saturday. You're saying they didn't get to her house on Sunday. Who took the bricks to her house on that Sunday?
My son's employee.
So Home Depot didn't deliver the bricks?
No.
Your son's employee picked them up on Sunday and delivered the bricks from Home Depot, even though they were purchased on Saturday?
Right.
Okay.
The new brick that I purchased were never picked up from their yard.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because I spoke with the salesperson and I spoke with the person from the yard. And
Home
they said, we
Depot
don't send
said,
them.
when did Home Depot tell you the new bricks were picked up?
They was never picked up, they told me.
Okay, that's
Yes.
what I need to know.
Okay.
That's what I need to know.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
When you saw those old bricks, in your mind, you started thinking these bricks can't be new, they can't be from Home Depot, and that's why you started calling, checking up on all of this?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, got it. I believe her. I believe everything she's saying.
Okay.
And I am ordering you to, let me tell you something, Mr. Heath. I believe her. I believe what she's saying. I believe you showed up with those old bricks. No, sir. No, sir. I believe her. You owe her $620, sir. Don't try to scam people when you do work for them. That's fraud. $620 you owe the plaintiff.
Thank you.
Whatever.